outreach is made possible by the National Health Fund, the Office of the Prime Minister, Petrojam, Airports Authority, LMH Publishing, Campari Group, Ministry of Health and Wellness, the National Solid Waste Management Authority NSWMA, the Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica, Phoenix Vision Center, Kuna Caribbean Insurance, Ministry of Labor and Social Security, Rural Water Supply Limited, and Maxfield Bakery.
Listen to Nationwide 90 FM on 90.1,
90.3,
90.7,
90.9,
or visit our Flow channel on a 916. To our valued listeners, for questions, comments, or concerns about our programs, email us at programs@nationwidenewsnetwork.com.
Ready to tackle that building project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Robeanne Williams.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
In Nationwide News at this hour, the Prime Minister says his administration's performance enabled the country to secure the massive hurricane relief package announced by the world's multilaterals yesterday.
And it is that credibility which unlocked this extraordinary level of global support at our moment of greatest need.
But the opposition leader has poured cold water on the package, describing it as a huge debt burden.
This is not something to gloat about. This represents a substantial setback for Jamaica.
State Minister of Finance Xavier Main and a PNP councillor are facing charges by the Integrity Commission.
The police have seized more rifles this year than the last 3 combined.
A mother has been charged with allowing a 60-year-old man to touch her 14-year-old's vagina.
In news from the rest of the world, Haiti's transitional government adopts key law to hold a general election for the first time since 2016.
U.S. Defense Secretary says he did not see survivors before follow-up strike on drug boat.
In headlines, sports defending champion to break from gate number 1 in Saturday's Rich Mute Mile at Caymanas Park.
And later in our broadcast, in our cover story at 5:35, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness is crediting his administration's prudent fiscal management for the near $7 billion package of aid from multilateral partners.
Jamaica today stands as a credible, responsible, and trustworthy sovereign. And it is that credibility which unlocked this extraordinary level of global support.
You'll hear more from the Prime Minister's presentation during today's sitting of the House of Representatives.
In Public Opinion at 6:26, we ask, what's your reaction to Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness's declaration of war on misinformation and disinformation? Give us your comments by logging onto our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio, and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, you will hear a paid broadcast of the Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness's presentation at the handing over ceremony for new water trucks at NWC's Marosca Road compound on Tuesday.
From 7 to 7:30, it's Nature's Remedies with Dr. Denise Daly. Tonight we'll be looking at passion fruit and passion flower.
At 8, it's Prescription for Life with Dr. Andre McDonald.
And at 9, it's Affairs of the Heart with Rodney Campbell.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile Nationwide 90 FM, RevoNews.ai, and on the Revo News app. It's available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Tuesday afternoon, it's Tuesday, December 2, 2025.
The hour is brought to you by KFC's Festive Feast. Share the love this season with the new KFC Festive 9 Bucket for $4,500. Proceeds from every Festive Feast purchase goes towards hurricane relief. KFC, it's finger licking good.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness is crediting the near $7 billion relief and recovery package from the world's leading multilaterals to the sound fiscal management of his administration. Dr. Holness provided an update in the House of Representatives on what's being touted as the single largest development financing package ever assembled for Jamaica. The Prime Minister says the package will give the country the ability not only to recover but to rebuild stronger. Siobhan Campbell covered Parliament today.
The damage from Hurricane Melissa has been unprecedented. The final estimate puts the cost at nearly $9 billion. That's 40% of the country's annual gross domestic product, GDP. How the country would begin funding that recovery bill was uncertain until yesterday. A joint announcement by the International Monetary Fund, Inter-American Development Bank, and the World Bank of a comprehensive package of assistance to the tune of $6.7 billion puts Jamaica on solid footing. That puts the country more than 70% along the path to recovery. According to the Prime Minister, the country's solid fiscal performance is to be credited for the historic relief package.
The swift and coordinated response is a vote of confidence in the administration of the affairs of Jamaica. Madam Speaker, Jamaica today stands as a credible, responsible, and trustworthy sovereign. And it is that credibility which unlocked this extraordinary level of global support at our moment of greatest need.
Dr. Holness says Jamaica, which has been long held up by multilaterals as the poster child of fiscal turnaround, now has the opportunity to be the same in terms of disaster recovery.
This morning, the Minister of Finance and myself, we met with the heads of the institutions to outline the next steps, align implementation pathways, and prepare for rapid disbursement. Madam Speaker, the message from the IFIs, that is the international financial institutions, could not have been clearer. They told us directly that Jamaica, already the case study of fiscal responsibility for the world, now has the chance to become the poster child for post-disaster recovery and reconstruction.
The Prime Minister says the assistance will guide the country's restoration efforts over a three-phase strategy. Much of the support will come in the form of loans and an additional debt burden for the country. But Dr. Holness sought to make it clear that this was not a celebration of debt, but a chance for the country to build back stronger through growth-inducing investments.
We will turn this moment of crisis into an opportunity to transform. Madam Speaker, Jamaica has never lacked ambition. What we have lacked for decades is the financial wherewithal to match that ambition. Today, that has changed. For the first time in our history, our national development vision is backed by a robust, multi-year, multi-partner financing envelope. Madam Speaker, we now have a clear reconstruction strategy, an empowered institutional framework, unprecedented international support, and a united national will. This government will move forward with urgency, discipline, and transparency as we lead Jamaica into a new era of resilience, recovery, and growth. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, opposition leader Mark Golding lamented the debt burden that will accompany the relief package.
It's really a shame that the international financial community is still approaching the mitigation of the effects of climate-induced disasters on countries like ours by financing packages that are largely based on additional debt. These debts that we are now going to be incurring to finance our attempts at recovery are like lending money to a business that suffered losses through some kind of crisis that is trying to dig itself out of a hole from. Taking on additional debt to do that is going to be a challenging road for any country. Therefore, I don't think it's appropriate to treat these announcements in a triumphant way.
Mr. Golding says the announced package is not to be celebrated as it represents a substantial setback for the country.
This event has caused us to retrace our steps substantially from the economic path we were on, and which the nation incurred substantial sacrifices to get to where we were. I'm not blaming the government for Melissa. That would be absurd. I'm not blaming the government for seeking resources to fund the recovery. It's going to be necessary to get those resources. I am just making the point that this is not something to celebrate. This is not something to gloat about. This represents a substantial setback for Jamaica, and it represents, and if it's not administered properly, it could permanently weaken our future prospects and damage the country's future.
Mark Golding, leader of the opposition, he was speaking in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. The Integrity Commission's Director of Corruption Prosecution, Ranif Lawrence, has accepted a recommendation to charge Member of Parliament for Southwest St. Anne, the JLP's Xavier Main, for failing to provide a portion of the information requested concerning his statutory declarations over a 5-year period. The recommendation was made by Director of Investigations, Kevon Stevenson. The declarations are for the years 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. As we hear in this report from Robian Williams, Stevenson says while Xavier Main dutifully filed his statutory declarations, he fails to comply with a lawful request to provide more information concerning the annual submissions.
The matters which have given rise to the decision by Kevon Stevenson to recommend that Xavier Main be charged with a criminal offence are straightforward. There is no dispute about whether the MP for Southwest St. Anne filed his declarations for the 5 years in question. He did. That is not Kevon Stevenson's issue. His issue is that information he has requested from Xavier Main, that is better particulars about those statutory declarations for the years 2018 to 2022, has not been forthcoming. In his 40-page report tabled in Parliament at the start of business on Tuesday, Stevenson outlined in detail the specific pieces of information requested from Xavier Main and the facilitation provided by the Commission to give the MP time to comply. At one point in the report, Stevenson asked Xavier Main to give the Commission the disposal price for a 2015 Honda Accord. Main responded to say the vehicle was transferred with, quote, love and affection. For example, Stevenson requested audited financial statements from Main about companies Main owns, Water Valley Development Foundation, Xavier Main and Company, Attorney at Law, and Rockstar Development Limited. He also asked for information about Xavier Main's NCB Capital Market account, a NCB Savings account, 2 NCB Visa Platinum Business accounts, 5 NCB Visa Credit Card accounts, BNS Primary Savings Account, BNS Electronic Access Account, BNS Scotia Plan Loan, BNS Resident Mortgage Accounts, Mayberry Investment Accounts, JMMB accounts, and Cornerstone Merchant Bank accounts. Stevenson notes that Xavier Main sold a property for $120 million at Springs Plaza in St. Andrew, yet no supporting documentation was provided for the disposal of the property. Stevenson asked Xavier Main to provide information about gross rental income he earned from rental properties in 2021 and 2022. He also asked for information about the gross salary Main earned from Xavier Main and Company law firm. According to Kevon Stevenson, none of these requisitions for information was complied with by Xavier Main, despite them acceding to requests for him to be given more time to respond. Therefore, according to Stevenson, the law dictates that he recommend that Main be charged by the Director of Corruption Prosecution. That director has accepted the recommendation. Robian Williams for Nationwide News. Meanwhile, Xavier Main's attorney Nigel Jones says his client strongly rejects any suggestion of non-compliance with the Integrity Commission. As we hear in this report from Mahiri Stewart, Xavier Main says the Commission's report is frivolous, vexatious, and without legal merit.
Jones says the move against his client proves that the Integrity Commission embarked on a fishing expedition and has lost its way. He says his client has been diligent in filing his annual statutory declarations. Jones says that at the heart of the dispute is a disagreement between his client and the Integrity Commission on the interpretation of a point of law. He says his client opposes a requisition from the Commission to provide audited financial statements of third-party companies in which he is a shareholder. According to Jones, Xavier Main firmly believes the Commission has no legal authority to request such information from him. This, as the law only requires him to make a personal financial declaration of the assets and liabilities in his name. Jones says the Integrity Commission's request for Maine to make declarations about credit cards assigned to him through associated companies or credit cards which were never activated or used is ridiculous. He says all financial institutions with which Maine had dealings have submitted yearly letters to the Commission detailing the extent of Maine's business with them. Those letters, he says, provides details about savings, investments, and liabilities. Jones accuses the Integrity Commission of trying to embarrass Xavier Maine. He says Maine wrote to the Commission inviting them to seek a declaration from the Supreme Court to settle the point of law on which they disagree. Jones says to date, the Commission has not done this. He says they also failed to mention the letter in their report to Parliament. According to Xavier Maine's attorney, the report by the Commission was botched and rushed. He says the date of completion of the report is less than 1 month before the announcement of the date for the general election. Jones says it's unfortunate his client will have to now petition the Supreme Court to clarify the same point of law he and the Commission are in disagreement about. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
And the Director of Corruption Prosecution has also accepted recommendation that PNP councillor for the Ginger Ridge Division in St. Catherine, Ralston Wilston, be charged for failing to file his statutory declarations. The recommendation follows referral by the Commission's Director of Investigations, Kevin Stevenson. The report was tabled in Parliament on Tuesday. According to Mr. Stevenson's report, Councillor Wilson failed to file his statutory declarations with the Commission for the years 2019, 2020, and 2022. The report further states that Councillor Wilson failed to file the declarations with the Commission at the material time. According to Mr. Stevenson, due to this failure, he committed an offence under Section 43 of the Integrity Commission Act. The report says Mr. Wilson was given an opportunity to discharge liability by paying the fixed penalty and submitting the required statutory declarations. He notes that by only complying with the latter, he failed to discharge liability consistent with Section 43 of the Integrity Commission Act. That's it for now. More news after this.
See twice the style for less at IQ Optical. Buy one pair of glasses and get your second and third pair half price. Don't miss out. Call 876-929-7732 or visit IQ Optical today, where clarity never looked sharper.
The time by IQ Optical is
17 minutes after 5.
Termites, rodents, or birds infesting your home or office? Call Rentokil Initial, the pest expert, at 876-926-4236 for a free pest assessment island-wide. The temperature brought to you by Rentokil Initial is...
It's 28 degrees Celsius in Kingston and Montego Bay.
We in this together, hands on hearts spread wide. We know things will get better, working side by side. We in this together, rebuilding homes and lives, no matter the weather. You are not alone.
Sagicor is contributing over $200 million to Jamaica's Hurricane Melissa recovery. We're also standing by our clients. If you're a client in need of support, call 888-SAGICOR.
Continuing the news, the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF has seized more rifles this year than in the last 3 years combined. According to data from the force, 164 rifles were confiscated between January 1 and November 28. Over the review period, the police also seized more illegal firearms than they did for the entirety of 2024. Shaloy Smichael has been going through the data.
The JCF has been removing illegal guns and ammunition from the nation's streets at an impressive rate since the start of the year. The latest data show that between January 1 and November 28, 1,006 illegal guns were seized. With just 1 month left in the year, the figure is still the highest seizure when compared to the entirety of the last 3 years. In 2022, 745 firearms were seized. That figure dipped to 643 in 2023. It rose again in 2024, recording 715. Pistols account for the bulk of the guns seized since January, with lawmen confiscating 719. That's 169 more than the 550 seized in 2024. Rifles were the next most commonly seized firearms, coming in at 164. It's more than the combined 66, 31, and 53 seized in 2022, 2023, and 2024 respectively. Revolvers rank third with 66 seized up to November 28. Ammunition seizures follow a similar pattern. The JCF says 44,602 rounds of ammunition were seized between January 1 and November 28. It's the largest amount recorded over the last 3 years. By comparison, the previous peak occurred in 2022 when 15,131 rounds of ammunition were seized. Shalois Michael for Nationwide News.
A 45-year-old St. Catherine mother has been charged with multiple offenses after allegedly prostituting her teenage daughter. The woman is jointly charged with a 60-year-old man also from the parish. Reports from the police are that on June 1, the mother took her 14-year-old daughter to the senior's house, who expressed his sexual interest in the child. It says on separate occasions the mother took the teen girl to the man's house where he hugged her and kissed her on the cheek. He also fondled her breasts, buttocks, and touched her vagina. The police say the elder further gave the girl $34,000, which she gave to her mom. The mother and man are jointly charged with conspiracy and misprision of felony, as well as grooming of a child. The mother is facing additional charges of 3 counts of trafficking and aiding and abetting sexual touching. The 60-year-old man is also charged with 3 counts of sexual touching.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
Haiti's Transitional Presidential Council has backed an electoral law in the latest step towards holding a general election for the first time in nearly a decade. The approval means the government can finally publish an official and long-awaited electoral calendar. This after fears that the council would try to push back the tentative dates to stay in power longer. The adoption of the electoral law comes as some council members have pushed for the ousting of the country's prime minister. Haiti's Provisional Electoral Council says it plans to hold the first round of voting in August and the final round in December next year. Meanwhile, the Transitional Presidential Council is supposed to step down by February 7 to give way to democratic rule.
U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says he did not personally see survivors before a deadly follow-up strike on an alleged drug boat in the Caribbean. An initial strike reportedly left 2 survivors clinging to the burning vessel before a second strike was allegedly ordered that killed them. The Trump administration has repeatedly defended the strikes as a necessary self-defense measure to save Americans from illicit drugs. But the September 2 strike has prompted concerns that U.S. forces may have violated laws governing armed conflict. During a cabinet meeting at the White House, Hegseth attributed the strike to the fog of war in a chaotic situation. The White House says a top U.S. Navy Admiral Frank Bradley authorized the second strike. More than 80 people have been killed in a wave of similar strikes across the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific since early September.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, the Prime Minister says his administration's performance enabled the country to secure the massive hurricane relief package announced by the world's multilaterals yesterday.
And it is that credibility which unlocked this extraordinary level of global support at our moment of greatest need.
But the opposition leader has poured cold water on the package, describing it as a huge debt burden.
This is not something to gloat about. This represents a substantial setback for Jamaica.
State Minister of Finance Xavier Main and a PNP councillor are facing charges by the Integrity Commission.
The police have seized more rifles this year than the last 3 combined.
I'm Robeanne Williams.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
You can find the news on our website at revonews.ai and on the Revo News app. It's available on Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
The hour was brought to you by KFC's Festive Feast. Share the love this season with the new KFC Festive 9 Bucket for $4,500. Proceeds from every Festive Feast purchase goes towards hurricane relief. KFC, it's finger licking good.
This season is the time. Digicel is gifting smiles. Gift a smile, gift a smile, gift a smile. 64 people to win a grand prize. 250K to help you to gift a smile. Plus groceries and farming supplies. Keep your loved ones in mind. Gift a smile. Sharing the love from me to you. Samsung tablet video and your crew. Gift a smile, gift a smile. This season, make sure everybody good. Digicel is helping you to gift a smile, gift a smile, gift a smile.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock.
Furnitureland and Carmen's Collection will open this and every Sunday until Christmas, from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. every day. For the very best in imported furniture, home accents, rugs, and household items. Furnitureland and Carmen's Collection, 112 Constant Spring Road. Every day until Christmas, your source for the exceptional.
Dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square in the frosty air.
News on the go. The latest stories from Jamaica and around the world are literally a finger tap away. Keep up to date with Teen Revolution 24 hours a day online via nationwideradiojm.com. Listen live, read the latest stories, hear every soundbite. Be a part of the vibrant online debate via Facebook and Twitter. Now you can get all your favorite premium nationwide content at your convenience. Visit the Android Play Store and download it for free today. NationwideRadioJM.com. All day, every day. Team Revolution.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. Wayne Walker. The West Indies were 9-1 at sports time on day number 2 of the first cricket test against West Indies against New Zealand over at the Hagley's Oval in Christchurch. The Windies are replying to 231 all out. Of course, you may remember New Zealand, they resumed at 231 for 9 on day 1, and it took West Indies less than no time to dismiss them for the same score. And the West Indies at the moment 10-1. Tajanaran Chanderpaul 4 and Alec Athanaze also for the not-out batsman at the minute. John Campbell, he was dismissed by Zach Folkes for 1. And the scorecard for New Zealand, as you would have heard overnight, Kane Williamson was the leading man. He got 52. And there were 2 wickets apiece for Kemar Roach, Jaden Seals, Justin Greaves, and the Jamaican debutant O.J. Shields. So West Indies at the moment 10-1. The latest score, and that's on day number 2 of the first cricket test against New Zealand over at the Hagley Oval in Christchurch. We move along. The Jamaica Scorpions coach Robert Haynes says all-rounders Javier Royal and Brad Barnes have shown they've got the potential to move their careers to the very next level. Royal slammed an impressive 124 against the Windward Island Volcanoes in the recently concluded Regional Super 50 competition, the only century by a Scorpions player in the tournament. The 27-year-old Royal is better known for his slow left-arm orthodox bowling, but Haynes says the maiden first-class 100 against the Volcanoes did not surprise him. In fact, he believes there's much more to come from where that came from.
Royal was always a player that has the potential to do very well. And, once he started to take his batting a lot more serious, because he has been bowling well. And, he showcased his natural ability, and his temperament was excellent. So, it's not surprising to us, but I think this is something that Royal needs to pay more attention to going forward.
Well, Haynes says Barnes was named captain of the team for the first time as John Campbell was given permission by the authorities to concentrate on the tour of New Zealand. Haynes says a former West Indies youth player should capitalize on the opportunity he got to lead the team.
The captain, Brad Barnes, did very well in terms of his leadership quality, the way he bowled. I think he's somebody that is always on the horizon, because when you look at the John Campbell right now, who's our captain before, he's involved in the West Indies team. I think Brad has a far way to go, and his overall cricket is looking a lot better. And, we just have to give him a little bit more time.
Yeah, that's Robert Haynes. He's coach of the Jamaica Scorpions team. We move now to horse racing. Defending champion Fun Candon will break from gate number 1 in Saturday's 4th running of the Rich Mute Mal Invitational over at Caymanas Park. This was confirmed during the draw for post position on Tuesday over at Caymanas Park. Fun Candon will again be ridden by Robert Halladine, who guided him to victory last year. The Mute Mal will offer the winner US $100,000 and the Chairman plate valued at US $40,000, with the runner-up walking away with the Jamaican equivalent of $8 million. 15 horses will face the starter in the richest horse race in the English-speaking Caribbean, including Legacy Isle, Ride All Day, and Mojito, horses which qualified automatically from the Win and You're In series. Main Mistress with Ismael Velasquez will break from gate 10, and his trainer John Prasad says though his charge is a 99-1 outsider, ignore him at your peril.
She's going to be a very large outsider going into the race. She is on a triple. She's won her last 2 races. I think that from who bought her, we thought she had a lot of ability. She's really just starting to put it all together now at the end of her 4-year-old year. She's run above herself in the last 2 races, and she's come back and trained better. So, who to tell at 99-1, I think that she's going to run the race of her life, and hopefully that's good enough.
That's John Prasad. Ride All Day will be ridden by the outstanding Javier Castellano, who won the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness Stakes, and he's got over 11 Breeders' Cup titles. Can you imagine? 11 races will be on the card. There are 4 co-feature events, and the card gets underway at 10 o'clock in the morning. I think we've got time just for one more story, and that's just to tell you that there'll be new champions in the the Costa Cup football competition, and the Garvey Maceo, the defending champions, they were dumped from the competition a short time ago in May Pen. They were beaten 5-2 by Glenmuir High School in their big clash in May Pen. Now Garvey, they needed only a draw to get into the quarterfinals along with Glenmuir. You're looking there at pictures of the game just finished, and we're looking at the goals there as well. So we're really right on target with that. So Glenmuir wheeling away in celebration there over in May Pen. We got this footage just about 5 or 10 minutes ago to be exact, and the red and white of Glenmuir really pulling it on the Garvey Maceo team, winning by 5-2 in the end. Now the reason Garvey Maceo are out is because Clarendon College, they beat the Magotty by 4-0 over at St. Elizabeth Technical, and because of that they ended with 4 points, the same as Garvey Maceo, but CC had a +4 goal difference to Garvey Maceo with a -3. Kempsell, they are also through ahead of Ocherius after beating Old Harbour by 3-0, while Ocherius, they lost by 2-0 to St. Elizabeth Technical. We've got loads more schoolboard results for you, but you've got to wait until our next sportscast, which will come your way this evening at 6:05.
For all your custom framing, printing, graphic design, and purchase of art, Make It Frame Art Jamaica Limited, serving you for over 40 years. The time by Frame Art Jamaica is
5:34.
From Kingston to the world, from Montego Bay to new adventures, and from Ocherias to endless possibilities. Wherever you're headed, we will proudly take you there. Jamaica's Airport, your global gateway. The temperature brought to you by the Airports Authority of Jamaica is
28 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's the same in the western city, Montego Bay.
Spring into style with Unique Living. Upgrade your home with our extensive range of products. Get sleek shower panels, stylish vanities, LED and non-LED mirrors, plus kitchen sinks, closet solutions, ceiling fans, and more. Available in various finishes and sizes. Visit shop number 6, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10. Call 876-755-3661 or visit our website at www.uniquelivingja.com. Don't wait to spring into style with Unique Living.
St. Anne and Trelawney Nationwide 90 FM is heading your way this Friday. On December 5 from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., we continue our Rebuilding Jamaica Post-Melissa Relief OB series with a dual broadcast live from Brownstown High School, St. Anne, and Litchfield Playfield, Trelawney. 2 parishes, 1 mission, helping our people get back on their feet. Come out and connect with our hosts, share your stories, and let Jamaica know how your community is rebuilding after Hurricane Melissa. We'll be distributing care packages, and our partners will be offering free health checks, prescription support, and water tank sign-ups. Nationwide 90 FM, rebuilding Jamaica, one community at a time. This outreach is made possible by the National Health Fund, the Office of the Prime Minister, Petrojam, Airports Authority, LMH Publishing, Campari Group, Ministry of Health and Wellness, the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, the Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica, Phoenix Vision Center, Kuna Caribbean Insurance, Ministry of Labor and Social Security, Rural Water Supply Limited, and Maxfield Bakery. Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Ever wondered how to spot a scam before it drains your account? Or how Jamaica's top financial crime fighters track down the money? Join the Financial Investigations Division on Nationwide this morning, every first and third Friday at 8:20 a.m. for FID in Action, an informative, engaging feature designed to keep you and your money safe. Learn practical tips to help you spot, prevent, and report financial crimes. Understand how the FID protects the financial system. That's FID in Action, protecting you, preventing financial crime. On Nationwide this morning, every first and third Friday at 8:20 a.m. Brought to you by the Financial Investigations Division.
News on the go. The latest stories from Jamaica and around the world are literally a finger tap away. Keep up to date with Teen Revolution 24 hours a day online via nationwideradiojm.com. Listen live, read the latest stories, hear every soundbite. Be a part of the vibrant online debate via Facebook and Twitter. Now you can get all your favorite premium Nationwide content at your convenience. Visit the Android Play Store and download it for free today. NationwideRadioJM.com. All day, every day. Team Revolution.
Good
afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide at 5 for this Tuesday afternoon. I'm Cliff Hughes.
Good afternoon, Cliff. Good afternoon, listeners. My name is Ricardo Brooks.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brooks.
Good afternoon.
Well, in our cover story this afternoon, news from the Parliament where the Prime Minister addressed the Parliament today, and as we speak, the Finance Minister is tabling the third supplementary estimates, and that's the Finance Minister Favour Williams. Earlier, the Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness, credited the almost $7 billion relief and recovery package from the world's leading multilaterals to what he calls sound fiscal management of his administration. Dr. Holness provided an update in the House on what's being touted as the single largest development financing package ever assembled for Jamaica.
Of any period of government, especially on the PNP side, by any measure of any index that has been used, it is the lowest. A point that must be made. And it stands unchallenged. So, the swift and coordinated response is a vote of confidence in the administration of the affairs of Jamaica. Madam Speaker, Jamaica today stands as a credible, responsible, and trustworthy sovereign. And it is that credibility which unlocked this extraordinary level of global support at our moment of greatest need. This morning, the Minister of Finance and myself, we met with the heads of the institutions to outline the next steps, align implementation pathways, and prepare for rapid disbursement. Madam Speaker, the message from the IFIs, that is the international financial institutions, could not have been clearer. They told us directly that Jamaica, already the case study of fiscal responsibility for the world, now has the chance to become the poster child for post-disaster recovery and reconstruction. They commended the government for the decision to establish the National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority, NARA, noting that few countries act so quickly to set up a modern, best practice central coordinating body to drive recovery with discipline, transparency, inclusivity, and a long-term vision. Madam Speaker, these institutions are not looking at Jamaica as a country in crisis. And for that matter, it should be said, neither is the government.
House Leader.
Madam Speaker, with the Prime Minister's time for speaking having expired, we ask that he be extended to complete his presentation. 10 minutes.
Question is that the Prime Minister be allowed 10 minutes to complete his presentation. Those in favour? Those against? The ayes have it. Prime Minister.
Madam Speaker, these institutions are not looking at Jamaica as a country in crisis, and for the record, neither is the government. We see this as an opportunity. They are looking at Jamaica as a global standard setter. The world is watching Jamaica, not just with empathy, but with admiration, respect, and expectations. We now have a rare opportunity to show what a small nation, united in purpose and confident in its future, can achieve on the global stage. Madam Speaker, the resources being mobilized are aligned with clear, disciplined, multi-phase national reconstruction strategy. Phase 1 of the strategy is the stabilization and the provision of essential services. The first phase of the strategy is focused on the restoration of electricity, water, connectivity, food, shelter, and key transportation links. As these stabilize, relief, which is the provision now of the food and the water and other such items, will transition in December, or probably a little later, maybe early January, from physical distribution to targeted financial support through a voucher system, whether digital or physical, restoring dignity, autonomy, and choice to affected Jamaicans. Phase 2, which is the economic and social recovery. So that next phase will be the reopening of schools, restoration of health facilities, support for farmers, small businesses, and tourism operators, and the reactivation of the local economy. Already we have begun that, Madam Speaker. A central pillar of the government's national recovery strategy is direct support for micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, the backbone of Jamaica's economy and the most vulnerable to prolonged disruption. The MSMEs are essential to employment, rural livelihood, supply chain recovery, and the restoration of commercial activity across the island. Ensuring their swift restart is therefore critical to Jamaica's overall economic rebound.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness on his feet in the Parliament this afternoon. He went on to explain how we should take this after the break. Let's go to the break and come back.
This season is the time. Digital is gifting smiles. Gift a smile, gift a smile, gift a smile. 64 people to win a grand prize. 250K to help you to gift a smile. Plus groceries and farming supplies. Keep your loved ones in mind. Gift a smile. Sharing the love from me to you. Samsung tablet video and your crew. Gift a smile, gift a smile. This season, make sure everybody good. Digital is helping you to gift a smile, gift a smile, gift a smile.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. You're tuned in to The Cover Story. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Cliff Hughes.
And we're bringing you excerpts of the Prime Minister's presentation in the House of Representatives today, outlining the near $7 billion relief and recovery package announced by the world's leading multilaterals yesterday. He says his government's sound fiscal management is to be credited for it. He also explained to the House the different components of the aid package and how it will be used.
Rise today to update this Honourable House on the unprecedented level of international financial support mobilized for Jamaica following Hurricane Melissa, and to outline how this support aligns with our structured, disciplined, and forward-looking national reconstruction strategy. Madam Speaker, the international community has responded to Jamaica with remarkable solidarity, urgency, and confidence. Yesterday, the 1st of December 2025, the international financial institutions, the IMF, the World Bank Group, the Inter-American Development Bank, the Development Bank of Latin America and the Caribbean Development Bank, jointly announced a 3-year coordinated financing package of up to $6.7 billion to support Jamaica's US dollars, to support Jamaica's recovery, reconstruction, and long-term resilience. Madam Speaker, even before the announcement of this substantial international financing package, we already had in place a multi-layered disaster risk financing framework, which was the product of years of strategic planning, disciplined financial management, and proactive investment in resilience. This framework enabled rapid early response and the immediate mobilization of liquidity to meet the most urgent needs following Hurricane Melissa within days. Jamaica activated several instruments across our risk financing architecture. We had approximately Jamaican 5.3 billion in the contingencies fund and 1 billion in the National Natural Disaster Reserve Fund. We received US 91 million from the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility, CRIF, one of the largest payouts ever made in the region. And then we had the US $150 million under the catastrophe bond, triggered immediately based upon parametric thresholds. In addition, we had US $285 million available through the IDB's contingent credit facility for rapid liquidity support, which was upsized to $300 million, and US $42 million scalable to US $84 million available on request under the World Bank's catastrophe deferred drawdown option. Madam Speaker, this totals approximately US $662 million in liquidity that was available almost immediately following the hurricane. This is the very definition of planning, preparedness, and responsible governance. Our multi-layered approach ensured that Jamaica did not wait helplessly for external support. We were prepared and ready to act, ready to deliver, and ready to protect our people. However, Madam Speaker, the scale of the disaster is without precedent in our history. The widespread infrastructure damage, displacement of thousands of families, the destruction of livelihoods, and the long-term economic impacts mean that additional financing is required to support the reconstruction effort and to build a more resilient Jamaica. It is against this backdrop of strong national preparedness that the international community has now rallied behind Jamaica, recognizing that we are not merely seeking help. We are ready to lead, ready to rebuild, and ready to transform. Madam Speaker, the US $6.7 billion financing announced yesterday has three main components. US $3.6 billion in sovereign debt financing. This is for the government to execute the National Recovery and Reconstruction Program over the next 3 years and includes up to $1 billion each from the World Bank, IDB, and CAF. US $415 million from the IMF under the large natural disaster window of the RFI, and US $200 million from the CDB, the Caribbean Development Bank.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness. He also told the Parliament and the nation this evening that the reconstruction phase will not just focus on restoration, but on rebuilding stronger.
In this context, the Development Bank of Jamaica has launched its Business Recovery Program, a comprehensive package to restore operations across agriculture, manufacturing, tourism, and health, with a strong focus on MSMEs. To capitalize this program, Cabinet has approved $3 billion Jamaican dollars in funding for the remainder of the 2025-2026 fiscal year. Further allocations will be made for the coming budget. Then, phase 3, resilient reconstruction. Madam Speaker, this third phase will focus on resilient considerations. This is the heart of our long-term strategy. Every major investment will reflect stronger engineering, climate-ready design, and future-proofing. This includes resilient housing, rebuilding schools, hospitals, and public buildings to higher resilient standards, including relocating them where necessary. Climate-smart roads and bridges, coastal and river defense systems, including natural defenses. Strengthened public utilities and grid resilience. Digital and transport infrastructure to support productivity. Our reconstruction is not merely about restoring what was lost. It is about building a stronger, more competitive Jamaica capable of withstanding future climate shocks. Madam Speaker, we will approach reconstruction as a growth-inducing strategy. I know from this that the question will be asked, why are we celebrating more debt? We are not celebrating more debt. What we are celebrating is the opportunity to make a massive investment in our infrastructure, in our people, in the services that improve productivity. And it is that investment, Madam Speaker, that will expand our economy relative to our debt, and therefore, in short order, you can look forward to growing, increased revenue, and a relatively smaller debt to the size of your economy. We have never before had an opportunity to spend $6.7 billion relative to our GDP. We have never had that opportunity. US. And our GDP is somewhere in the region of about 17 to 18 billion dollars. $19 billion, thereabout. The Minister of Finance reminded me, $20 billion. You're proud, as are we, proud of the fact. Yes, $20 billion. So you get an opportunity to, within 3 years, to deploy $6.7 billion relative to your $20 billion GDP. So you can see the opportunity to expand the economy. And that's what the strategy is. And I'm encouraging all Jamaicans, regardless of political persuasion, to embrace this opportunity. To
embrace this opportunity. Classic case, Ricardo, listeners, of turning a crisis into an opportunity.
When I was going to school, the bullies used to single out the smartest person in the class, and they'd call him or her a nerd.
Yes.
I say this advisedly. The Prime Minister, I think, has become something of a nerd in the office. And hear me out, because I know when people hear the word nerd, they think it's a bad thing. But when you listen to him, you get the sense that this is somebody who has not only studied a single part of the brief, but has a command of the entirety of the subject matter.
Yes.
Because here is a country that has been seriously affected by a crisis that you could be forgiven if the leader of that country was crippled for a while, was handicapped in terms of thinking, how do I respond? It's what now, 34 days?
34 days.
After the crisis. And he can stand in the parliament, take the crisis and say, here is how I will make this country, this economy, that section of the island, that much more better than it was before the crisis. I dare say, before we go to the opposition leader, those who tell you and tell you enthusiastically that they chose Jamaica on September 3. I imagine this afternoon they feel very much vindicated.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. What you're also seeing there, the Prime Minister did a terminal degree in office. Law
and public policy.
And public policy. You're seeing, the fruits of that in terms of his grasp of how governments and development are supposed to be connected.
Yes.
He's also demonstrating a level of technocratic grasp of what the times demand. That is just simply brilliant.
It is impressive.
Yeah.
It is. The opposition leader took to his feet to respond to the Prime Minister's statement. Here's what Mr. Golding had to say.
It's really a shame that the international financial community is still approaching the mitigation of the effects of climate-induced disasters on countries like ours by financing packages that are largely based on additional debt. These debts that we are now going to be incurring to finance our attempts at recovery are like lending money to a business that suffered losses through some kind of crisis that is trying to dig itself out of a hole from. Taking on additional debt to do that is going to be a challenging road for any country. Therefore, I don't think it's appropriate to treat these announcements in a triumphant way. We are going to be incurring the costs of paying back this massive additional borrowing in years to come. We are in a country which has spent the last 15 years seeking to get ourselves out of a debt trap, where we've had to run massive primary surpluses every year consistently to reduce our debt to GDP ratio, with a target that's written into our law incidentally by a government from this side, which we were anticipating would have been met this year before Melissa struck us. And now we are facing a new era of massive incremental borrowing. If you look at 3.6 billion US of sovereign debt, that's over 25% of GDP of additional borrowing. That does, and the 662 billion already available, only less than half of that is in a form that's not debt. Most of that is debt as well.
Mark Golding, the opposition leader, making his contribution after the Prime Minister did in Parliament, making essentially an argument for climate justice. Well, you can do that when you're in opposition. The difference in the presentation, one man is at the wicket, yes, the Prime Minister, and he has to bat, and he has to put runs on the board, yes. Mr. Golding has the luxury of speaking from the opposition benches so he can wax warm about the case for climate justice.
And let us be clear that the administration has prioritized climate justice. The climate minister was at COP, he made the case. The Prime Minister has also made the case before the UN General Assembly. Yeah, but Mr. Golding is absolutely right. But those are the parameters, and the Prime Minister said it. He has to play within the parameters of the international order. Mr. Golding then responded that he understands the international landscape. There was another clip before we go, Cliff. I don't think we found it, but Mr. Golding, nearing the end of his presentation, made a comment which I found very curious. He pointed to the fact that the opposition, People's National Party, received, I think he said 400,000 votes in the last general election. And then he said something to the effect that the Prime Minister, almost like he was saying, if you know we're good for you, and I'm paraphrasing here, if you know we're good for you, you would include us going forward. I thought the comment was telling because I think it betrays a lot of what is driving the posturing that we've been seeing. And I asked the question, and perhaps later the listeners can engage us on it. Is that why Mr. Golding has been posturing almost as a co-prime minister? Does he believe that, no, and it's a very serious question. I do not mean to trivialize the matter, because when he said what he said and he wagged his finger at the prime minister, I thought that's a curious stance to take. Does he believe that this is some sort of co-government that the opposition has?
Because he got 400,000.
Yeah, it struck me, and if we can find it later, then I'd want to play it, because I want the listeners to hear exactly what he said. But he certainly cited 400,000 votes and said something to the effect that if you know what's good for you, you'd include us. And the Prime Minister responded when he got up, I will not be threatened. But we'll see.
Yeah. That's where we're going to leave it for the cover story. The headlines are next.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
5 minutes after 6.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay Banton. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness is crediting the near $7 billion relief and recovery package from the world's leading multilaterals to the sound fiscal management of his administration. Dr. Holness provided an update in the House of Representatives on what's being touted as the single largest development financing package ever assembled for Jamaica. The Prime Minister says the package will give the country the ability not only to recover, but to rebuild stronger. A joint announcement by the International Monetary Fund, Inter-American Development Bank, and the World Bank of a comprehensive package of assistance to the tune of $6.7 billion puts Jamaica on solid footing. That identifies more than 75% of the bill to finance the recovery. According to the Prime Minister, the country's solid fiscal performance is to be credited for the historic relief package.
The swift and coordinated response is a vote of confidence in the administration of the affairs of Jamaica. Madam Speaker, Jamaica today stands as a credible, responsible, and trustworthy sovereign. And it is that credibility which unlocked this extraordinary level of global support at our moment of greatest need.
Dr. Holness says Jamaica, which has been long held up by multilaterals as the poster child of fiscal turnaround, now has the opportunity to be the same in terms of disaster recovery.
This morning, the Minister of Finance and myself, we met with the heads of the institutions to outline the next steps, align implementation pathways, and prepare for rapid disbursement. Madam Speaker, the message from the IFIs, that is the international financial institutions, could not have been clearer. They told us directly that Jamaica, already the case study of fiscal responsibility for the world, now has the chance to become the poster child for post-disaster recovery and reconstruction.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. Meanwhile, opposition leader Mark Golding lamented the debt burden that will accompany the relief package.
It's really a shame that the international financial community is still approaching the mitigation of the effects of climate-induced disasters on countries like ours by financing packages that are largely based on additional debt. These debts that we are now going to be incurring to finance our attempts at recovery are like lending money to a business that suffered losses through some kind of crisis that is trying to dig itself out of a hole from. Taking on additional debt to do that is going to be a challenging road for any country. Therefore, I don't think it's appropriate to treat these announcements in a triumphant way.
Mr. Golding says the announced package is not to be celebrated as it represents a substantial setback for the country.
This event has caused us to retrace our steps substantially from the economic path we were on, and which the nation incurred substantial sacrifices to get to where we were. I'm not blaming the government for Melissa. That would be absurd. I'm not blaming the government for seeking resources to fund the recovery. It's going to be necessary to get those resources. I am just making the point that this is not something to celebrate. This is not something to gloat about. This represents a substantial setback for Jamaica. And it represents, and if it's not administered properly, it could permanently weaken our future prospects and damage the country's future.
Mark Golding, leader of the opposition, he was speaking in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, has seized more rifles this year than in the last 3 years combined. According to data from the force, 164 rifles were confiscated between January 1 and November 28. Over the review period, the police also seized more illegal firearms than they did for the entirety of 2024. With just 1 month left in the year, the figure is still the highest seizure when compared to the entirety of the last 3 years. In 2022, 745 firearms were seized. That figure dipped to 643 in 2023. It rose again in 2024, recording 715. Pistols account for the bulk of the guns seized since January, with lawmen confiscating 719. That's 169 more than the 550 seized in 2024. Rifles were the next most commonly seized firearms, coming in at 164. It's more than the combined 66,031 and 53 seized in 2023. Rather, it's more than the combined 66, 31, and 53 seized in 2022, 2023, and 2024, respectively. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay. Banton Sports is next.
SME operators, your lifeline has been extended. Grab it. You now have until December 31, 2025 to apply for the NWC MSME Amnesty. Get a 50% write-off on qualified outstanding arrears, a waiver on reconnection fees, and up to 3 months to pay the remaining balance. Conditions apply. Email customercare@nwc.com.jm or dial 888-CALL-NWC for further details. It's an opportunity for recovery. Apply today.
We in this together, hands on hearts spread wide. We know things will get better, working side by side. We in this together, rebuilding homes and lives, no matter the weather. You are not alone.
Sagicor is contributing over $200 million to Jamaica's Hurricane Melissa recovery. We're also standing by our clients. If you're a client in need of support, call 888-SAGICOR.
Good evening with your sports report. I am Alex Ribby. We bowl things off with some cricket as West Indies reached 26-2 at sports time on day 2 of the first test against New Zealand at Hagley's Oval in Christchurch. John Campbell 1, Alec Athanaze 4 are the batsmen back in the pavilion. Taj Narayan Chanderpaul 5 and Shai Hope 4 are at the wicket. New Zealand were bowled out for their overnight 231. There were 2 wickets each for Jaden Seas, Kemar Roach, Justin Greaves and Ajay Seales. Jamaica Scorpions coach Robert Haynes says all-rounder Javier Royal and Brad Barnes have shown they've got the potential to move their careers to the next level. Royal slammed an impressive 124 against the Windward Islands Volcanoes in the recently concluded Regional Super 50 Cup, the only century by a Scorpions player in the tournament. The 27-year-old Royal is known more for his slow left-arm orthodox bowling, but Haynes says the maiden first-class 100 against the Volcanoes came as no surprise to him, and he thinks there's more from where that came.
Royal was always a player that has the potential to do very well. And, once he started to take his batting a lot more serious, because he has been bowling well. And, he showcased his natural ability, and his temperament was excellent. So, it's not surprising to us, but I think this is something that Royal need to pay more attention to going forward.
Barnes was named captain of the team for the first time after John Campbell was relieved of that responsibility to concentrate on the tour of New Zealand. Haynes says the former West Indies youth player should capitalize on the opportunity.
The captain, Brad Barnes, did very well in terms of his leadership quality. The way he bowled, I think he's somebody that is always on the horizon, because when you look at the John Campbell right now, who is our captain before, who is involved in the West Indies team, I think Brad has a far way to go, and his overall cricket is looking a lot better. And, we just have to give him a little bit more time.
Robert Haynes. The former England captain Mike Atherton says that if Australia go on to win the second test at the Gabba in Brisbane, which bowls off on Wednesday night Jamaica time, then the Ashes would be as good as over. The day-night affair will be played using the pink ball. The Aussies needed just 2 days to brush aside England in the first test in Perth, and Atherton says the visitors should treat the second test as much as a must-win.
Yeah, it's not a good ground for England, the Gabba. I'm at the Gabba now. It's about 6:30 in the evening and the lights are on. England are having their first kind of practice session under light because, as you say, it's going to be a day and night pink ball test, and they don't have a good record in pink ball cricket, and they don't have a good record here at the Gabba. They've not won here since 1986-87. So the omens are not necessarily in their favour, but they have to bounce back. If you go 2-0 down here in Australia, that's the Ashes as good as done, because England don't win that many test matches down under, and they certainly don't win 3 on the bounce. So it's a massive game, and England will have to bounce back and play rather better than they did in Perth.
Atherton added that England should rethink their baseball approach heading into the game.
And they're just going to have to bat a whole lot better. I mean, they were bowled out in under 70 overs in both innings at Perth, 70 overs for the mat. So, they're going to have to just bat a whole lot better, make clinical decisions about how to play when the ball bounces a bit more, as it does here in Australia, and in particular in Perth and Brisbane, which are the venues for the first 2 tests. Ball bounces a bit more, and England can't get drawn into playing half-hearted shots outside the off stump. They're going to attack, they're going to be aggressive. That's in their DNA, and that's fine. Playing aggressive attacking cricket is absolutely fine in Australia. There just will come a time, particularly in a pink ball game, where the lights take effect, the ball starts to move, and you might just have to absorb a bit of pressure.
Michael Atherton. Now to horse racing, as defending champion Funcan Dunn will break from gate 1 in Saturday's 4th running of the Mootay Mile Invitational at Caymanas Park. This was confirmed during the draw for post position on Tuesday at Caymanas Park. Funcan Dunn will again be ridden by Robert Halladine, who guided him to victory last year. The Mootay Mile will offer the winner $100,000 plus the chairman plate valued at $40,000, with the runner-up walking away with the Jamaican equivalent of $8 million. 15 horses will face the starter in the richest horse race in the English-speaking Caribbean, including Legacy Isle, Ride All Day, and Mojito horses, which qualified automatically from the Win and You Are In series. Main mistress with Ismael Velasquez will break from gate 10, and trainer Peter John Prasad says though his charge is a 99-1 outsider, ignore him at your peril.
She's going to be a very large outsider going into the race. She is on a triple. She's won her last 2 races. I think that from who bought her,
Peter John Prasad. Ride All Day will be ridden by the outstanding Javier Castellano, who has ridden the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness Stake, and over 11 Breeders' Cup. 11 races, including 4 co-features, are on the card for the first set to get off at 10 a.m. Now to footballers, there will be new champions in the Issa da Costa Cup as the Garvey Masia were dumped from the competition after losing 5-2 to Glenmuir in their big round of 16 clash in Maypen on Tuesday. Garvey needed only a draw to follow Glenmuir into the quarter-final, but their defeat, coupled with a stunning 5-0 win by Clarendon College over Magate at Stets, means Clarendon College advanced with a +4 goal difference to Garvey's -3. Kemsill booked the last remaining quarter-final ticket from Zone 2 after easing past Old Arbor 5-0 to finish second in the group behind Stets, who denied Ocho-Riverside with a 3-0 victory. Cornwall College ended Zone 1 winners after beating Christiana 3-1 in Montego Bay. Both teams have already secured quarter-final tickets. The Mount Pleasant Academy will aim to become the second Jamaican team in 2 years to lift the CONCACAF Caribbean Club football title when they square off with Universidad O&M of the Dominican Republic in the second leg final at the National Stadium at 7 p.m. Jamaica time on Tuesday. The St. Anne-based outfit will take a 1-0 lead into this encounter, courtesy of Kimoni Bailey's 8th-minute strike in the first leg a week ago. Coach Theodore Whitmore says he's confident the former national champions will do the business at both ends of the field and secure their first regional title.
We expect a tough game. We expect to come at us. They're a goal down, but we don't want to take anything for granted. I think the last game we were a bit off in terms of rustiness because we weren't engaged in any games for such a long time. I think we get that game under our belt, and I think what I've seen from the last couple of days from the players, they're up for it. I'm glad we're not going into this tie with a 2-goal advantage. I think one is enough, so we know that we have something to play for. We've been mean in terms of giving up goals in this tournament.
Whitmore added that winning the Caribbean Cup will be testament to their hard work.
It's always a pleasure winning trophy, and this would just add to it. I think the work, both the management, the technical staff, the players been putting in over the past couple of months. I think this would be a big reward. You know, it's history in the making. This is something that our owner set out to achieve, not only in the Premier League. We want to make our mark outside of the JPL. We want people to know about us, not only in Jamaica, but in the CONCACAF region.
Theodore Whitmore. Norway international Erling Haaland has become the quickest player to reach 100 goals in English Premier League history as Manchester City outscored Fulham 5-4 in a wild game at Craven Cottage on Tuesday. Haaland bagged his milestone goal in the 17th minute, and it meant he reached the century in 111 league games, 13 fewer than it took previous record holder Alan Shearer.
Jeremy Doku. It was left for Haaland, and there's the landmark goal. 100 in double quick record time in the Premier League. It's taken him 111 games, that's all, erasing Alan Shearer's 124 from the record books. Another remarkable statistic.
Finally, in bobsleigh, Michael Moore, the Welsh-born sprinter turned bobsledder, who now proudly competes for Jamaica, continued a remarkable ascent in the women's monobob with a breakthrough third-place finish in race 3 of the North American Cup in Park City, Utah. The podium finish follows her strong 6th and 4th place performances in Whistler, pushing her further up the rankings as she hunts qualification points for the 2026 Milano Cortina Winter Olympics. Moore, who represented Wales in the 4x100 meters relay at the 2014 Commonwealth Games and Great Britain in the two-woman bobsleigh at Pyeongchang 2018, has reinvented her career under the black, gold and green as part of Jamaica's women's bobsleigh program.
I made a switch to Jamaica this year. Obviously my heritage, my family heritage is Jamaican, so I'm really proud to be able to represent it. I'm always so impressed when I come to into services because these guys come out here for 2 weeks, complete novices, like thrown onto the ice. And they learn so quickly, they're so resilient, you know, they might have a couple of spills, but they learn really quickly how to like manage a bobsleigh, drive a bobsleigh, and then to be roasting it off the top on race day is really impressive.
Michael Moore. I'm Alric Swiby, that's your sports.
scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:23.
Outperform, outlast. With top performance. Jackhammer. Reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electrician. Fancy select tools, 3 parts and 3 repairs. 3 parts, 3 repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-6111-4. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
St. Anne and Trelawney Nationwide 90 FM is heading your way this Friday. On December 5 from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., we continue our Rebuilding Jamaica Post-Melissa Relief OB series with a dual broadcast live from Brownstown High School, St. Anne, and Litchfield Playfield, Trelawney. 2 parishes, 1 mission, helping our people get back on their feet. Come out and connect with our hosts, share your stories, and let Jamaica know how your community is rebuilding after Hurricane Melissa. We'll be distributing care packages, and our partners will be offering free health checks, prescription support, and water tank sign-ups. Nationwide 90 FM, rebuilding Jamaica, one community at a time. This outreach is made possible by the National Health Fund, the Office of the Prime Minister, Petrojam, Airports Authority, LMH Publishing, Campari Group, Ministry of Health and Wellness, the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, the Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica, Phoenix Vision Center, Kuna Caribbean Insurance, Ministry of Labor and Social Security, Rural Water Supply Limited, and Maxfield Bakery.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening and welcome to Public Opinion here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Special good evening to our friends on YouTube. We invite you to weigh in live in the comments of today's Public Opinion. So the Prime Minister last Friday shot back at what he says is the daily barrage of accusations from various quarters that the government is motivated by partisan considerations as it works to provide assistance to the people worst affected by Hurricane Melissa. The opposition People's National Party claims the relief effort, particularly in Western parishes, is slow, inadequate, and influenced by political motive. They also allege that aid distribution is being directed by government ministers and political operatives instead of elected opposition representatives. The Prime Minister is declaring war on what he has framed as the coordinated dissemination of lies.
It is not just managing the disaster, it is managing the false information. And we have to go to war with that. Too much false information, distracting the people when we need to have a positive mindset for recovery. And it is one thing that you will see about me. Me not afraid of nobody. All who want to make me one. Me we go with you toe to toe. Every nonsense you talk, I will respond to it. And as you would have seen with the government, man come out with foolishness, we respond, not go so. And as many memes as they can make, I can make it too. So it's going to be war, because we cannot allow people who peddle nonsense, the people who tell lies, we cannot allow them to win. So we will have it out.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, he was speaking at the grand opening of the Little London Police Station in Westmoreland. So in Public Opinion this evening, we're asking, what's your reaction to the Prime Minister's declaration of war on misinformation and disinformation? And just to define the two, because they're different, yeah. Misinformation is false information that is spread without the intent to cause harm or mislead. The person sharing it genuinely believes it to be true. However, disinformation is false information that is deliberately created and spread with the knowing intention to manipulate, mislead, or cause harm, often for political, financial, and personal gain. So let's see what folks are saying. What is their reaction to the Prime Minister declaring war on mis and disinformation? Let's take a look, shall we? So we have 11 comments on Instagram, and we start with Dominus Downer, who says, full time. Ross Clooney Lorraine says, I agree with the PM. With freedom comes responsibility. Freedom of speech must be king of truth. Nothing else will do. Shaz says, I agree we don't want to hear fake news. People are suffering right now. The last thing they need is fake news and negative things being said. Demalia Matthews says, agreed, we don't need more division. It is time to present facts and let them speak. Senpai Akihiko says him take too long. Padworthy says he lacks focus. Robert Gregory Luars says, I agree with the PM. Some people who support the opposition are carrying out mis- and disinformation to damage the economy. Those people are blind and don't serve any purpose on the island. Sweet 293 says, I agree with the PM. It's sickening to hear and it no look good or sound good. Sisu Jamaica says it's past time. Misinformation is destroying our democracy. There we go. Yeah. And then we have Peter Nooks that says him should have started a long time. Too much misinformation and lies. So let's go over to Facebook and see what we have over there. Then we go to Twitter. Then we go to the YouTubers. Yeah. All right. We go over to Facebook and what do we see? How many comments do we have? Do we have a lot? Do we got a little bit? Let's take a look. Hold on a second. Here we are. We have a lot. I can't read all of these. It's a lot, but we keep going, man. Carlington Bartley says, it's a holy war. Prime Minister Holness is leading righteous warriors into battle to defend the truth, which is under attack. All right, let's see. The PM needs to speak out much more. He didn't say what was causing the war on the Jamaican people. He's waging war against the lies, against himself and the government. Clifton Russell says, the bloggers know the terms and conditions of that war far better than the academias. Eric McIntosh says, war will and must be waged on anything or anyone who deliberately seeks to damage brand Jamaica and who is best suited to lead that charge. Audley Phillips says, I am not certain I would use the same terms to describe them, but free speech allows any and everyone to say just about anything these days, and if left unchallenged, they get wings and spread like wildfire. Free speech comes with responsibility, but many do not understand that. The amount of garbage perpetuated daily is remarkable, and many have no other reason to spread them but to defame, disparage, and scandalize others. Michelle Bernard says, my reaction is that he waited too long to challenge it. If he had done so before, the free-for-all paid to attack wouldn't have gotten out of hand. I blame him. He kept quiet for too long, and now that he hit back, all the analysts are crawling out to spew their venom. Where were they all along? Were they deaf and blind? What do we have here? Kevin O'Neill says it shows he's wilting under the pressure. It also shows that his hands and head is not focused on the task at hand but on bloggers, too concerned with public perception rather than performance. George Elliott says this is way overdue and should include a charge of sedition depending on the extent to which lies and innuendos would be damaging to Jamaica. Zan Zawi says, don't know what took him so long, especially since some of them should be locked up for a long time. Robert Ranger says, fully agree, fight back. Jermaine Grant says he won't be able to stop that. Fake news comes out and spreads every day, locally, regionally, and internationally. As the PM, he just has to bring the facts to the people or direct them to it. That's all. All right, let's go over to X, see what they're saying over there, and then we check the YouTubers. What time is it? I have time. Yes, I do. I do have time. All right, here we go. So let's go over to X, see what folks are saying over there. And then we go to the YouTubers. So we asked the folks on X what's their reaction to PM Holness declaring war on mis- and disinformation. Afghanistan Rasta says, yes, government, push back on every PNP lie. I can't ever pronounce this, is such a long name, but what's his Gem Zan Diamonds? There we go. That wasn't too hard. Yes, nip it in the bud before it gets completely out of hand. Let's see what says the YouTubers. All right, who feels it knows it, says Glenroy Clayton. We start off with him, I guess. All right, how do we go here? How do we start off? Ricard, what's his 5421? Ricardo, not our Ricardo. This is a different Ricardo. The PM is absolutely right. See what nearly happened when the lies were ignored. All right. Captain J 555 says it's time the PM puts this misinformation on social media to an end. All right. What else do we got here? What else can we read? PM, pay no attention to them and do your work, says Winston Marshall. Okay. What else we got here? It is about time the PM say something. It's sickening the lies and level of disrespect these people spread online. That's Dahlia Shirley. All right, he must push back. Can't let it continue. That's Maureen McKenzie. Merlene P says, long time we have been telling the PM to fight back against the lies. DJ Freshman Jamaica 9971 says, I don't agree with this type of behavior. Albert Lewis 627 says, no issue with the PM's statement. There comes a time when a response is required. Full time 1 PM, says Sandra Armstrong in the chat. Judith Dodd says it's about time. Custis Brown says enough is enough for those bloggers. Marva Thomas says the PM took too long. So that's what we have so far in the YouTube chat. Maybe we can end it up now. Yeah, that's exactly what I've been told. So there we have it, folks. That's public opinion. Thank you so much for participating, as y'all normally do. But now it is time for the business report. Let's get straight to it.
Public opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, industrial automation and control solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is...
It's 6:35. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Alliance Financial Services Limited has announced the expansion of its operations with the addition of 2 new locations. The first of which is situated on the ground floor of the R. Danny Williams building in New Kingston at the Sagicor Group Jamaica headquarters, with the second located at Millennium Mall in Maypen, Clarendon. The Millennium Mall location officially opened on Friday, November 21, and the New Kingston location, formerly occupied by Paymaster, was opened on December 1. Both locations will provide a range of convenient services, including payments for Sagicor Life Jamaican dollar premiums and Sagicor Bank credit card payments, National Water Commission, and Jamaica Public Service. In addition to these services, the Millennium Mall location will offer Cambio and remittance services. A number of other offerings will also be added in the short to medium term. Internationally, the Bank of England has warned of a sharp correction in the value of major tech companies with growing fears of an artificial intelligence AI bubble. It said share prices in the UK are close to the most stretched they have been since the 2008 global financial crisis, while equity valuations in the US are reminiscent of those before the dot-com bubble burst. The central bank's financial stability report warned valuations are particularly stretched for companies focused on AI. In its report, the bank also announced plans to lower the amount of capital high street banks need to hold in a bid to boost lending and spur economic growth. It marks the first reduction in the amount lenders need to hold since the 2008 financial crisis, and followed stress tests showing they would be able to withstand a crisis scenario with unemployment doubling, house prices plummeting, and the economy contracting by 5%. And finally, in the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 161 Jamaican dollars and 5 cents to buy $1. It costs 212 Jamaican dollars and 70 cents to buy £1 and 115 Jamaican dollars and 8 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Good evening.
Trelawney Nationwide 90 FM is heading your way this Friday. On December 5 from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., we continue our Rebuilding Jamaica Post-Melissa Relief OB series with a dual broadcast live from Brownstown High School, St. Anne, and Litchfield Playfield, Trelawney. 2 parishes, 1 mission, helping our people get back on their feet. Come out and connect with our hosts, share your stories, and let Jamaica know how your community is rebuilding after Hurricane Melissa. We'll be distributing care packages, and our partners will be offering free health checks, prescription support, and water tank sign-ups. Nationwide 90 FM, rebuilding Jamaica, one community at a time. This outreach is made possible by the National Health Fund, the Office of the Prime Minister, Petrojam, Airports Authority, LMH Publishing, Campari Group, Ministry of Health and Wellness, the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, the Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica, Phoenix Vision Center, Kuna Caribbean Insurance, Ministry of Labor and Social Security, Rural Water Supply Limited, and Maxfield Bakery. Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today. Get ready, students! Get ready, parents! And get ready, schools! From January to March 2026, Nationwide 90 FM is hitting the road again with the NNN School Tour, a fun, organized, and interactive journey bringing excitement, energy, and empowerment straight to your school under the theme Rise Up, Represent, Do It For Your Future.
You know getting nothing less than 98 when school over, me never avoid the gate.
This tour is all about motivating Jamaica's youth to dream big, take action, and own their future. Expect entertainment, inspiring messages, and engaging activities that challenge you to showcase your talents and potential. If you're a student with talent, come show us when the NNN School Tour comes to your school. Stay tuned to Nationwide 90 FM for details on how to participate in the NNN School Tour. So get ready to rise up, represent, and do it for your future.
It's Monday, get over your blues. Or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The E-Zone is here for you. With the Stinger Honey Bee
and Karim Boyatings
from 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM.
We've got your entertainment news.
Then we want to hear your views. Why you said?
Jump in the mix.
Or the hot seat.
Don't miss our brain busters.
Or the crazy giveaways.
Let's talk fashion.
Send us your outfit of the day. Ooh, cutesy. Very demure.
Are you looking for love?
Come on one of our blind dates. Send your request to ezoneblindates@gmail.com. That's ezoneblindates@gmail.com.
And stay tuned for your confessions.
These are my confessions. Share them with us at ezonconfessions@yahoo.com. I mean, is this planet Earth?
Is it?
I don't know. Let me check. Either way, it's got a buzz.
And a bugger thing.
Ow! Ow!
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Alan Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we are all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads podcast. It's a revolution in media.
Hi there.
Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, by God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path. Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
Not a mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all the schoolers who are taking beats.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio, my team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team, Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Ever wondered how to spot a scam before it drains your account? Or how Jamaica's top financial crime fighters track down the money? Join the Financial Investigations Division on Nationwide this morning, every first and third Friday at 8:20 a.m. for FID in Action, an informative, engaging feature designed to keep you and your money safe. Learn practical tips to help you spot, prevent, and report financial crimes. Understand how the FID protects the financial system. That's FID in Action, protecting you, preventing financial crime. On Nationwide this morning, every first and third Friday at 8:20 a.m. Brought to you by the Financial Investigations Division.
Nationwide now presents a paid broadcast of Water Minister Matthew Samuda and Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness's presentation at a handing over ceremony for new water trucks on Tuesday, December 2, 2025. It's being brought to you by the Ministry of Water, Environment and Climate Change.
Thank you, Delano. Good afternoon, Most Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, Permanent Secretary. Welcome to the NWC and indeed the water portfolio. Members of the Board of Commissioners led by Chairman Shaw, of course, Acting President Kevin Carr and your management team, members of the Shackman Group, friends and members of the media, and of course, Member of Parliament, Heroy Clark. And I see one of our most vocal customers, stakeholders, political representatives who has joined us this afternoon. Welcome, John. And we trust you won't be on cliff tomorrow morning with anything but praises. This is yet another investment in the resilience of the water sector in Jamaica. Any analysis, any plan to achieve national resilience to climate change and to other shocks must contemplate a resilient water supply. And we have been tested over the last 4 years, certainly, by climatic events. I shared with the Prime Minister recently that over the last 4 years since I've had involvement with the water sector, we have had our hottest day in Jamaica. We have had our wettest day in recorded history. We have had a Category 4 hurricane. We have had a Category 5 hurricane, 2 tropical storms, the worst drought in our history, the third worst drought in our history, and the fourth worst drought in our history. So for us, the need for resilience because of the fact that the climate has changed is not a debate. The need for resilience because our weather patterns have shifted is simply not a debate. The question is, how do you achieve this? How do you afford it? And what are the steps that we take to make sure that we get closer to this resilience as quickly as is humanly possible? But today is definitely a step in the right direction. It ticks several boxes. It ticks the relief box, Prime Minister. It clicks the restoration box. It ticks the rebuilding, and it certainly ticks the resilience box. Because we know that there are disruptions to water systems. That's not limited to a developing country like Jamaica. Just this morning I saw some disruptions in our neighbors to the north. So we know we have to have the capacity to respond in times of crisis, in times of extreme weather, to be able to ensure that our society is able to maintain stability and indeed able to function in times of crisis. We also know that water is a critical pillar of economic activity. So behind us, just as we did a few months ago, Kevin, we're handing over 12 trucks, not 8 this time, Prime Minister. And the additional 8 that you had instructed that we procure is still underway. That's going through the process. That's not under emergency procurement, but rather competitive bidding. But there are 12 trucks here behind us that will certainly significantly improve delivery and crisis response, especially in Western Jamaica, which is most affected. As PS would have stated, we're at 82.5% of restoration of NWC customers now, and happy to report that we have passed the 50% mark in terms of number of systems which have indeed been restored. But for those persons who don't have water, that means very little to them. But what should mean something to them is that their government has made an investment in bringing water closer to them in this trying time. But long before resilience became the national buzzword, post-Hurricane Beryl and now post-Hurricane Melissa, we would have started on a path of building significant resilience. In fact, those here should recall that a few months ago we launched the Western Resilience Water Project, which is targeted at significantly hardening our infrastructure in the West from Trelawney all the way around to St. Elizabeth. And that involves major transition mains. It involves upgrades to our production facilities, but Prime Minister, it also involves adding energy supply, secondary energy supply to all of our production facilities, and of course involves the building of a new treatment plant at the Roaring River facility in Westmoreland. Now that will take some years. That is a $45 billion commitment, but I'm happy to report that we are under contract. We have deployed the initial mobilization funds, and work has started, and it is because of that project, Prime Minister, that we were able to restore, for instance, the Great River Treatment Plant in less than a month. Because if we had not had contractors deployed and equipment and indeed pipes on the ground, that system would still be out today. So a lot is often made when we break ground, when we cut ribbons, when we do handovers. But they are important because not only do they mark time, but they signal to the country that our development journey is not stunted. We are not daunted by Melissa or Beryl or whatever else may come. And we will achieve our resilience through sound management, careful decisions, and strong investment. Thank you, and welcome to the NWC.
Standard protocols that have been established, and go straight into my presentation. First, let me, but forgive me, I have the Deputy Speaker of the House of Parliament here. I mean, the Minister knows I acknowledge him, and the new Permanent Secretary, and the Chairman, and the Acting President, and everyone else. But we have a real official here, the Deputy Speaker of the House. And I point that out because I have Parliament in another few minutes. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I know that the real Speaker has given me permission. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This is the third time in a matter of months that I am here at the NWC at a handing over ceremony for equipment. This is a powerful signal of the new capital dispensation of the NWC. It is not that the NWC is making more profit or seeing greater revenues. The truth is that they have been seeing greater revenues, and they have even broke even after decades of making a loss. And this is as a result of certain strategic decisions taken in addition to improved management. One strategic management decision would be, for example, the implementation of the non-revenue water projects, which would have reduced significantly water losses on the balance sheet of the NWC and would have secured their revenues. But we have also taken other important decisions that would have put our balance sheet, the NWC's balance sheet, in much better positions rather. For example, in terms of loans that we have taken and how those were financed. And all of that has made it possible for the NWC, first and foremost, not to come to the government for money to pay off loans on which they would have not performed well on. And we have not had that in a little while, which is good. It means that the NWC is no longer the fiscal risk to the government that it was. It is, yes, it's a major change. Ever so often, every 5 or every 10 years, the government of Jamaica would have to make a massive provision to relieve the balance sheet of the NWC of significant debt. Thankfully, we haven't had to do that in a while, certainly since my administration. However, we do understand that the NWC would not have all the capital required to undertake the infrastructure development that we require of the NWC. And so the government has, from time to time, stepped up to the plate and put in the capital investment along with the NWC. And what you're seeing here today is the government of Jamaica, through its budget, specifically now, through the Natural Disaster Relief Fund, make allocations for the relief and recovery exercise. And it is those allocations for which the NWC has had the confidence to go ahead and enter into an accelerated procurement process to acquire these units. It's very important for the public to know that this was done under emergency procurement. And you see how we have shortened the time. Now, just to be clear, a few months ago, I was here handing over 8 units, which took almost a year under procurement, or probably a little bit more than a year. And then I had said at that time the NWC should go and procure more. So they procured another 8. Now, those 8 are still in procurement. Still in procurement. These 12, however, given the devastation of Hurricane Melissa, and there are so many persons now who don't have water as a result of the disruption in the public utility supply, we have had to use the emergency procurement procedures. And I would say in a matter of weeks, 3 weeks, about 3 to 4 weeks, 3 weeks, thereabout, 2.5 weeks, Minister tells me, since we made a decision in Cabinet, made the allocation, and now I'm pleased to hand over these 12 trucks. Now, any reasonable thinking citizen must be thinking,
Why is it so long in procurement? And I'm sure that after this presentation today, the citizenry will start to question the very dense bureaucracy that we have, and while it is there, and necessarily so, to protect the value of the public purse and the value of what the public purse purchases for the benefit of the customer, we can't sacrifice that level of compliance. But there must be a way in which compliance can be accelerated so that the customer not only gets the monetary and accounting value, but also gets the value in service. Because can you imagine if we had to go through the regular procurement process, what would have happened to the people in Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth and Hanover and parts of St. James and Trelawney, who will now benefit from having a greater supply of water? And that is the challenge that governments face, not just in Jamaica, all over. It's the same complaint that the modern bureaucracy is moving way too slow relative to the demands of the public and the citizens of our democratic countries. And what is emerging now as a new school of thought is how can we use technology, specifically artificial intelligence, to accelerate some of these bureaucratic processes to give the confidence of scrutiny and compliance, but at the same time speed of service delivery. And this is something that we have already started to contemplate. We had announced a few months ago the formation of SPEED, which is our process to review the public bureaucracy with a view to enhancing speed in terms of how services are delivered. I want to also just use this opportunity to make the point that we're not only seeking to purchase water trucks, we have already started a process to purchase tipper trucks from the existing trade. I see Tankwell is here, and these trucks are from Tankwell. And I believe I can say that we have already reached out to Tankwell to purchase the tipper trucks that they have in stock here, because those trucks will be needed for another urgent intervention, which is the removal of hurricane debris, which is now creating its own separate problems, including potential health crises. And so we launched last week the National Cleanup Program. On Wednesday, they will actually begin doing the cleanup. That will require the mobilization of a fleet of trucks. I don't believe that we have enough trucks in Jamaica to have a concentrated effort on it. We will try to hire as many as possible, but the truth is we can't take the trucks from what they are currently doing. Many of those trucks are in construction and they're doing all kinds of other things. So we will bring as many private trucks in, but the NWC, the NSWMA, they need to have certain internal minimum capacity to respond. And therefore, the government has said we're going to build that minimum capacity, both in the NSWMA and in the NWC. So there is another process going on right now, similar to what has taken place in the NWC, to acquire trucks for the NSWMA to deal with the massive debris crisis that is affecting many of the areas that were devastated by the hurricane. So I want to therefore commend the NWC and its staff for ensuring that the process, the accelerated process, was done according to the law, that there will be no questions. Well, questions will be asked, but there would be none that is successfully questioning the process. And I'm also very happy to state that with these trucks, we will be able to deliver water to those persons who are in need. One final point for consideration, and the Minister is best placed to address it, but he is very passionate about the subject I'm about to mention, and he's the one who gave me the information, and I hope I treated it with justice. Now, I'm told that we have lost 51% of our primary forests as a result of the hurricane. For those of you who have had the opportunity to visit the devastated areas or have seen pictures on social media and on the news, you would see trees totally denuded, looking as if winter struck Jamaican forests. Now, that poses several problems. The first is the challenge to agriculture. You would have heard issues about, the bees having to find other homes, so pollination will become an issue. The other one is the potential for forest fires that itself could be devastating with us not having full capacity to respond. And then the third and most concerning is that in the areas that we have lost some of the forests, these would be our major natural underground water storage, particularly in the cockpit country. And one has to be very careful about how those hills are exposed and what it could do to the underground water systems. So the Minister and I, we have been discussing that we will have to have a special program of response for that, and I know the Forestry Department has started to do their work. They will come to us with the necessary proposals as to how the government can respond to protect our forests and our forested areas. But that leads to another big problem, the possibility of more extreme droughts. Now, we've had some very serious droughts for the last 4 or 5 years, and we have had to be scurrying to respond, which is why we had decided to increase the internal capacity of the NWC to have these water trucks. These water trucks, therefore, will serve the initial and immediate need, which is to provide water to those persons affected by the hurricane. But we will maintain them because we know that we're going to have a potentially serious drought following on early next year when we enter the dry season. And so these trucks will come in handy. And indeed, we may very well have to acquire more capacity. The intention, however, let me just assure those persons who are thinking that it is the intention of the NWC to have a massive fleet of water trucks. That's not the intention. The intention is to have the reserve capacity that we can respond quickly. But really, we need a fleet of about 100 or more water trucks, and that really should be a private sector endeavor. And therefore, the NWC will be working even closer with the private sector to make sure that there is this standing capacity within the country, managed both by government but mainly by the private sector, that would have the time, resources, effort, and management to manage a fleet of 100 trucks, while the NWC can focus on what it should be focusing on, providing water to your homes. So I just wanted to lay that out. So ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Parliament. Thank you very much.
That was a paid broadcast of Water Minister Matthew Samuda and Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness's presentation at a handing over ceremony for new water trucks on Tuesday, December 2, 2025. That was brought to you by the Ministry of Water, Environment and Climate Change.
St. Anne and Trelawney Nationwide 90 FM is heading your way this Friday. On December 5 from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., we continue our Rebuilding Jamaica Post-Melissa Relief OB series with a dual broadcast live from Brownstown High School, St. Anne, and Litchfield Playfield, Trelawney. 2 parishes, 1 mission, helping our people get back on their feet. Come out and connect with our hosts, share your stories, and let Jamaica know how your community is rebuilding after Hurricane Melissa. We'll be distributing care packages, and our partners will be offering free health checks, prescription support, and water tank sign-ups. Nationwide 90 FM, rebuilding Jamaica, one community at a time. This outreach is made possible by the National Health Fund, the Office of the Prime Minister, Petrojam, Airports Authority, LMH Publishing, Campari Group, Ministry of Health and Wellness, the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, the Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica, Phoenix Vision Center, Kuna Caribbean Insurance, Ministry of Labor and Social Security, Rural Water Supply Limited, and Maxfield Bakery.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's Word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Stay ahead of the curve with our cutting-edge reporting and accurate breaking news coverage.
We're having an earthquake. Oh, God.
Hear it here first on Nationwide 90 FM. Tune in, turn up the volume, and listen. We bring a mix of news, entertainment, and sports to your lives.
Nationwide 90 FM's live and continuous coverage of the World Championships in Budapest, Hungary.
News and discussions week mornings.
Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning.
Entertainment in the afternoons, then news again in the evenings.
Nationwide news at this hour, fired.
Also tune in to the entertainment and sports shows in the nights and on the weekends.
It is Boy Things After Dark right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
Everything is news, from current affairs and entertainment to sports, business, and other categories.
Nationwide 90 FM. This is Beanie Man. Give it to them. Zaga, Zen.
From every whisper to every commotion.
That's rubbish. The KSAMC cannot investigate itself.
Every news story unfolds here first at Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Every sound is a story, and every story we share is news.
News on the go. The latest stories from Jamaica and around the world are literally a finger tap away. Keep up to date with Team Revolution 24 hours a day online via nationwideradiojm.com. Listen live, read the latest stories, hear every soundbite. Be a part of the vibrant online debate via Facebook and Twitter. Now you can get all your favorite premium Nationwide content at your convenience. Visit the Android Play Store and download it for free today. NationwideRadioJM.com. All day, every day. Team Revolution.
St. Anne and Trelawney Nationwide 90 FM is heading your way this Friday. On December 5 from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., we continue our Rebuilding Jamaica Post-Melissa Relief OB series with a dual broadcast live from Brownstown High School, St. Anne, and Litchfield Playfield, Trelawney. 2 parishes, 1 mission, helping our people get back on their feet. Come out and connect with our hosts, share your stories, and let Jamaica know how your community is rebuilding after Hurricane Melissa. We'll be distributing care packages, and our partners will be offering free health checks, prescription support, and water tank sign-ups. Nationwide 90 FM, rebuilding Jamaica one community at a time. This outreach is made possible by the National Health Fund, the Office of the Prime Minister, Petrojam, Airports Authority, LMH Publishing, Campari Group, Ministry of Health and Wellness, the National Solid Waste Management Authority NSWMA, the Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica, Phoenix Vision Center, Kuna Caribbean Insurance, Ministry of Labor and Social Security, Rural Water Supply Limited, and Maxfield Bakery.
Rastafari run the continent. This King Selassie and you pay the consequence. Don't get it confused. God, give me a buckle of Sperlina and make me mix up the roots with Medina. Come off a door and me knee feel weak, so me go a up road and go link viva. A good for your nerves, so a sap and sapata, coconut water fi wash off your
Good God of mercy. It's 14 minutes after 7, and that means it's time. When I laugh.
Yeah, try it.
It worked. Doc laughed. It worked. Good evening, Doc.
Good evening. How are you doing?
What you got eardresser do? You dally down.
You gotta fix up every now and then.
Listeners, viewers, it's Nature's Remedies.
It looks good, yeah, Doc.
It does. No, it does. It does. It does. This is the program to educate you about the use of natural herbs. And tonight we'll be talking about the passion fruit and the passion flower. As usual, we'll be opening the line so you can call in with any questions you may have for our resident pharmacognosist, Dr. Denise Daly. Yeah.
Good evening, Dr. Daly.
Doc. Good evening, Sir Cliff. How are you? Yes. Good evening, listeners. Happy to be here.
And right off the bat, I have a question because when I was younger, I did like passion fruit juice.
And they told you?
And them tell me say,
it's not good for me.
It's not good for me because me go struggle later on. Is that true? Because I did like it when I was younger.
You shouldn't be struggling with that argument, because it actually have some benefits overall for the body. So we're going to go into that. So it's not quite true, but it depends on how much you are drinking it, because too much of that bitter and sour can really cut nature as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Similar to lime and lemon.
I see.
Yeah. And passion fruit can be very bitter and very sour as well.
But it makes a very good juice.
Oh, it's so good.
And
so good. It was so good.
So refreshing, so cooling.
Yeah.
As well. Mm-hmm.
All right. So, okay. Why is it considered a natural remedy?
All right. So, there's passion fruit and there's passion flower. Mm-hmm. Now, there are two different types of species that we use. So, in Jamaica, we focus on the flower, on the fruit. That's the yellow fruit when it's very ripe. That's the one we mostly find in Jamaica, and that's the one that's more tropical and subtropical. Now, the fruit itself is great for anything digestive. So if you have constipation, if you have diarrhea, you want to soothe the stomach as well, it is good. It's calming. And when you look at the scientific name, so Passiflora edulis, so that's the fruit that we have in Jamaica. We can eat the outside part of that fruit. So oftentimes we'll cut it in half, we take out the seed and pulp in the middle, and we make our juice. Normally we make it with warm water, allow it to soak, you mix it, you squeeze out the seeds and so on. And then you add ginger, lime, or whatever else you want to add to it. And then we throw away that part. Have you ever used the fruit cup, so to speak?
No.
You always discard.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That is another medicinal part of the plant. So that husk portion filled with flavonoids and pectin and polyphenols that helps our blood, liver, and kidney, and it is high in fiber. So we need to start using all of our passion fruits and even use it as a flour. So in terms of using it as a flour, that portion that we normally discard, if you wash it, cut it in small strips, dry it, like you can dry it in the oven or in the sun, then you mill it up like a powder, and then you can have your flour. Now that flour is great for diabetics, and it helps to stabilize the blood sugar. It's high in fiber as well, so you can add it to porridge, smoothies, stews, rice, or in your bakings, whether baking pancake, flour, bread. So we have so much that we can use with the passion fruit itself.
All right. And what are some of the key health benefits?
So the health benefits is stabilizing the blood sugar. It also has a lot of the unsaturated fatty acids. So those are the good fats that we need for our heart health. All right. So passion flower has it, especially the seeds, the seed oil. Those are great for our heart. It's great for skincare, and not just being a refreshing drink, but also great for sleep. And that part of the passion fruit, we'll look at the leaf. Have you ever had passion leaf tea?
No. I've only ever had it as a drink.
Okay. So the drink is very popular, but the leaf can also be used as a tea. And that leaf tea is a nervine, meaning to help you to relax. It reduces anxiety, and it's good for sleep. So if you can't sleep, passion leaf tea, along with soursop, you can add soursop to it as well. Valerian root, if you have valerian root, and boil that and have it like an hour before bedtime. And helps you to relax and get rid of insomnia. You just watch it for 2 to 4 weeks and see how you behave, if you need to have it earlier or 30 minutes before bedtime.
Wow. Yeah. How can someone incorporate passion fruit and flour into their diet safely?
Okay, so safety and hope. One, the fruit. Try get back to making the fruit juice. Whether you have it with water and make your juice regular, you can also use coconut water if you want to increase the aphrodisiac nature of the passion fruit and help with stimulating blood flow, relaxing, and allowing you to be more in tune with your mental health, so to speak. Then for safety, because it's good for insomnia, and it's good for balancing your blood sugar level. If you're on sleeping pills or any other type of sleep aids or diabetic medication, you want to separate if you're having the tea with your medication. The fruit juice in moderation, it's fine. It's just like having fruit punch or orange juice or apple juice. So that's safe to have as well. Yeah.
And are there any particular ailments, that you could be struggling with, suffering from, that the passion fruit is particularly good at combating?
Yes. High cholesterol, because the peel, if you dry the peel and you start having it a teaspoon or a tablespoon per day, that helps with managing high cholesterol. It helps with balancing blood sugar level, again in diabetic, and with insomnia. If you cannot sleep, it's also great for that. But even better is the passion flower. That's a different species. That's the incarnata flower. It's bigger. It's pale purple, lavender looking flower. And it have that crown. The flowers look like a crow as well. That flower can be had as a tea, and it's available as tea bags right across in your natural health food stores, etc. And that is excellent for anxiety and depression, especially when combined with other herbs. So these are some of the ailments we can use them for. For sort of passion flower, anxiety, depression, sleeplessness, and nervousness. So if you're a very nervous person, passion flower tea is excellent to have.
What about the side effects, Doc?
Side effects?
Yeah.
The fruit is safe for consumption. For the leaf and the passion flower, and if you're having the pulp, not the pulp, the husk that we dry for fiber, you want to have it outside of the medication. Because again, if you're on diabetic medication, this can lower your blood sugar too low if you're combining them. Pregnancy and breastfeeding, there's no research so far showing how passion flower or passion leaf can impact, so therefore you would reduce or remove it from your tea combinations during pregnancy. Have the drink at that stage of if you're in pregnant or breastfeeding. So those are some of the contraindications for passion fruit and the flower.
Well,
yes.
Barbara Ellington is asking if you've ever combined passion fruit with soursop. You'll never separate them again. It has now eclipsed the garden cherry juice as my favorite. A desired sweetener and a few drops of bitters and a toops of whites.
Oh, there you go. A nice recipe there. Yes, I've had passion fruit and soursop. It's heavenly, if you can say that. It's really refreshing.
Yeah. Novelet Smith says it's a very good sauce for lobster as well.
Sauce?
Oh,
passion
that's
fruit
nice.
sauce, I suppose.
Yeah.
I've had it with carrot. Yeah.
With carrots?
Yes.
Sauteed with carrot or carrot passion drink.
Carrot passion drink.
Oh.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I've had it in fruit punches as well. So passion, pine, cherry or local cherry, and guava, and of course ginger and lime.
Yes.
Quite refreshing.
Cindy Lynch says passion and guava blend together is very refreshing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, very refreshing.
Carlene is asking you, Doc, in the future to please do a session on noni.
Oh,
we have done.
Yes, we did, but we can do it again.
Yeah.
We'll definitely revisit noni.
Yeah. The numbers to call 630-937-124, 618-6730. We're discussing passion fruit and passion flower. Right, Doc?
Yes.
Yeah. We're going to take a break and come back with more of Nature's Remedies.
Not a mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all schoolers who are taking beats.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio, my team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team, Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Order your skincare products today and experience the difference for yourself. Contact nasorejamaica@gmail.com and make your skin the best it can be with Nature's Remedies. Your skin deserves the best. Nazare, your skincare covered naturally. You can also contact wellness consultant Dr. Denise Daly by sending an email to drdenisedaily@gmail.com.
Good God have mercy, hey. Good God have mercy, hey. God have mercy, hey. Spirulina build up me.
It's a Tuesday evening, and that means it's all about Nature's Remedies, your show where Dr. Denise Daly takes us through all the natural herbs and all the benefits they have for our health. Petal is on the line.
Good evening, Petal.
Good evening, Mr. Hughes. Good evening, Doctor, and my dear little one, Ricardo.
Hi, Petal.
Ricardo.
Good evening.
Really sorry about Grandma, Ricardo.
Thank you.
You know, my condolence, son. My brother's funeral service was Saturday gone.
Oh, my condolences.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, we meet up and link up.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, well, I'm telling you. Doctor, I'm not calling you about passion. You know, may I ask you about bitter apricot seed?
Yes.
What is it? Because I'm reading and it is saying that it has cyanide in there. Is that true?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is true.
So it can be dangerous to consume?
It can be dangerous to consume, yes, that's correct. However, some of it that is prepared and being sold, they've roasted it or boiled it. So they treat it to reduce the amount of the amygdalin, the cyanide that's in it for consumption. So that's how people safely have apricot seeds.
Okay, because I've heard that it is high in B17.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true?
Yeah, it has quite a few of the B vitamin complex. So B17, not sure, but I know it have a lot of the B vitamins.
Okay. That's what I want to really find out. So you're saying it's so the ones that they're selling, like on the, you know, where you order.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one is that has already been boiled and, you know, looked after.
Yes, boiled or roasted, however they treat it, they reduce the amygdalin that's in the apricot seeds. But if you buy apricots and you're going to break it and eat it, you can't have too much because you will have that buildup of too much cyanide or amygdalin in your system. Yes.
I understand. Okay.
I'm learning something new tonight. I didn't know that. Apricot seeds, go easy on it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because yes. But it can be very effective though, because when I go to the natural stores, they often introduce it to me when I was, you know, looking after my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they introduced it to me, but I've been reading it. Yeah.
And it's good for what?
Well, there's quite a few things it appears, and even for the cancer.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. But just like doctor says, it's a small amount because they just suggest just 2 of the seeds, no more than 2. Yeah.
Okay.
That's for the day. Okay, Doc. Good. So Ricardo, when is grandma going to be put to rest?
The 20th.
Okay. Down by your side over St. Owen?
Yeah, well, St. Benedict in Harborview.
Oh, in Harborview. So you must tell me. Me have a call George and George will tell me.
All right.
All right, darling.
All right, Petal.
All right. Take care. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yes. So once you have the seeds that we buy or you purchase, those are usually treated for consumption. Mm-hmm. So those are good to have some part of the diet and help with the fiber and medicinal properties that it has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who's next?
Douglas.
Yes. Good night, Nationwide family.
Hello, Douglas.
Good evening.
Greetings.
Douglas.
I condolence to my friend. We have been the same thing sometimes.
Thank you, Douglas.
I don't still passion and I don't blame it and mix it.
No, we're not hearing you. We're not hearing you clearly.
That's what I understand. You hear me better now?
Try again. Go ahead.
Hold on. Yeah, you hear me better now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I don't strain passion. I just mix it like that and have the seed consume everything. I don't know if I do any evil to myself.
You heard that, Doc?
You just cut it and have the fruit?
Yes, I don't strain it. I mix everything in one.
He has the seeds as well.
and consume the seed just straight like that. I don't know if I do anything bad to myself, just like what the guava.
Oh no, for the passion, your body would not break down the seeds if you don't blend up some of the seeds. So you're just going to pass it out like fiber.
Okay,
right?
So that's what I expect.
Yeah, so you just pass it out like fiber. If you blend a few of the seeds, then you can get some of the good fats, the PUF as we call them, the polyunsaturated fats like oleic acid and so on, that are good for the heart. Just a few of the seeds will help with that. Otherwise, if you just blend up everything, or if you just put everything, it's just coming out as fiber, because our digestive system can't break the seed. It's too tough.
I didn't expect it to burst the seed. I just expect that it will so-called wash out the intestine.
Yeah. Yes. So it sweeps it. It's like fiber. You know, it cleans it out. Yes, it does that on its way out.
Now that you teach me something, you're going to blend it, because I didn't know that they have nutritional value, the seed and the blend it.
Yes, a few of the seeds, because it tends to be bitter as well. So if you put too much in your drink, it changes the flavor. So just a few, like a teaspoon or a tablespoon, just a little bit, so it will help to give some of the good oils.
I blend it once and it tastes bitter, but I don't matter bitter, because I love bitter things and sour things. I love sour things, because when I do lime, I just blend the lime with the lime and everything. And everything. It don't taste pleasant to the taste bud, but I enjoy it.
But remember, too much ain't no good for you, cut the little nature you have left.
No man, sour things good for the nature, man. You never know.
But you don't have much. No. You don't have much left. Do you know about Douglas?
Let me tell you something. I know you don't remember me. Let me tell you something. I live off memories most time. Goodbye.
I get it. You live off of memories. Oh, Lord. So, can you maybe drink too much lime?
It's 7:35. We're taking your calls for Dr. Denise Daly. The passion fruit and the passion flower. 630-9371 to 618-6730. Those are the numbers to call. The YouTubers are enjoying themselves as always. Aishan Khan Doc says, we had so much passion fruit once so that we used up a dozen all at once. Okay. All right. That's a lot.
Yeah. I remember back in the day, in the early 90s, thereabouts, and kind of showing up my age, but we had a lot of passion in Jamaica. Like you go market, you see passion, your neighbor had passion tree, but I'm not seeing a lot of that anymore. So I'm not sure why we're losing some of our passion trees, but I really hope we can get that amount of passion and the new generation, the younger generation, actually make some passion juice. Instead of just buy.
I'm trying to remember what the tree looks like, and for some reason I'm not remembering.
Yeah, it tends to run.
A vine.
Yeah, on a vine.
Okay,
yes.
Okay.
Where I live, you see it running along the roadside. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Anyway, Doc. So the advice about passion, moderation.
Moderation. Ensure you have some passion fruits in your diets. At least, try for it a month, or don't let the year pass and you don't have some passion fruit because of the benefit that it has for the body. Get the flower, get the leaves. If you just get it at one point and you have the leaf and the flower, make a tincture, soak it in some vodka, so you can always have a shot every now and then to help with the nerves, help with the digestive system, and help with sleep.
Kenyatta Montgomery has some advice to my co-host. One Ricardo him a laugh, him better know say him soon reach too. Doc, we will not comment on that. But KTG is asking Doc, she's a first time listening. Any suggestions for anti-cancer?
For anti-cancer, the teas I recommend is neem. Neem tea is good to help with preventative cancer. So you want to get rid of any cancer cells within the body. Having some neem tea, that's a good option to have per week. Moringa is good in terms of maintenance and ensuring that the body is adapting to its environment. So if there's any abnormality, moringa helps with that. So neem is a good herb to have. Guinea hen weed is another excellent one.
Yes.
That has a lot of research on anti-cancer effects. When the cancer is there, I'm preventing it. So those herbs, you can have them separately. They're both strong. Neem and guinea hen strong. Guinea hen is all over Jamaica, so you can get the root especially and make it as a tea, or can blend it with, boil the tea and blend it with some cucumber for a drink.
All right, Doc. Well, that's how we're going to leave it for this week, Doc. Thank you so much. Our resident pharmacognosist, Dr. Denise Daly. We looked at the passion fruit and the passion flower this evening. Thank you so much, Doc.
Thanks,
You're
Doc.
welcome, and have a good night.
All right.
You too. After
Thanks.
The break, we take your calls on 876-630-937124 or 876-618-6730. I can't see the numbers from here, you know.
Ever wondered how to spot a scam before it drains your account? Or how Jamaica's top financial crime fighters track down the money? Join the Financial Investigations Division on Nationwide this morning, every first and third Friday at 8:20 a.m. for FID in Action, an informative, engaging feature designed to keep you and your money safe. Learn practical tips to help you spot, prevent, and report financial crimes. Understand how the FID protects the financial system. That's FID in Action, protecting you, preventing financial crime. On Nationwide this morning, every first and third Friday at 8:20 a.m. Brought to you by the Financial Investigations Division.
It's 20 minutes to 8, and earlier in the program, during the cover story, I had mentioned to you, Cliff, an exchange between Mr. Golding and the Prime Minister. Mr. Golding was responding, of course, to Holness's statement on the unprecedented relief package announced by the world's most prominent multilaterals, and the opposition leader told the Prime Minister to ensure he includes the opposition in the government's recovery efforts. And according to Mr. Golding, the opposition is entitled to the inclusion due to the fact that they won 28 seats in the last general elections. And we want to play the exchange for you, as well as the Prime Minister's response.
I wrote to the Prime Minister on the day after the hurricane to suggest the establishment of a task force with broad-based representation, leaders from the private sector and business community, leaders from the churches, leaders from the NGOs, and representatives from the government and the opposition. The concept of NARA is consistent with that. However, I've heard nothing from the Prime Minister as to the role of the opposition in NARA. We heard it will be broad-based, but there is no inclusivity in the dialogue around how it is to be constituted. And I can hear from the barbs that are flowing from the other side that the likelihood is that we will not be included in it. That is what I'm hearing from the other side in their responses to me, their sotto voce remarks. All I can say is, Prime Minister, the opposition represents some 400,000 voters who voted for us, 28 constituencies, and our presence in the recovery and our participation in the recovery, you'll be well advised to seek in a genuine...
House Leader, the member's time for speaking has expired.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Another generous allocation of time. Thank you very much.
And Opposition Leader,
yes.
Prime Minister got 10 minutes extra on 12 minutes for statement by Minister.
Right. I won't be nearly as long.
And you got half of that time.
I'm wrapping up.
Yeah.
It's not in my nature to be long-winded. So, Prime Minister, the point I was making is I think you would be well advised to seek in an authentic way the inclusion of the opposition in the governance arrangements over which these funds will be administered on this recovery, because Jamaica is facing an unprecedented disaster, the scale of which is indeed awesome and frightening to those who have to encounter it on a daily basis in several parishes across the land. So, Prime Minister, I wait to hear your thoughts on this. I have asked you about it for a month now. You haven't indicated to me your views, but, you know, I'm putting to you today again what I consider to be the optimal approach to dealing with this particular matter.
So we already factored in our development of how we're going to administer NARA, that there has to be the inclusion of the opposition. And I want it to be clear that I don't need to be threatened. I just want that to be clear. I am not going to accept any threats about if you know. No, that is not the spirit. No, that's what he said. That's what he said. If you are genuine, if you are serious, then let us, as leaders of the country, let us as leaders talk one-on-one without our conversations. I mean, you know, look, let me be clear. Any lies, any misinformation, you know, we have stood by and we have allowed it. That's fine. Now is a disaster. The consequences of misleading people in a disaster is a disaster in itself. Yes. And if you are truly a part of the government, then you must act like a part of the government and be responsible in your pronouncement.
And for transparency, as you can see, we have edited it to show you the relevant parts of the exchange. Mr. Golding, of course, you wouldn't have seen the part where his time ran out. The speaker would have insisted that he sit down. She turned off his mic. The House leader had to intervene to ask for him to get more time. He was given 5 minutes in the first instance, and I think a further 2 minutes, which is why he was a little bit shady there. But thank you for the generous allocation of time. But I thought the exchange there was important, and the producer, our producer Dana Davey, got the relevant parts. The comment about 400,000 voters, 28 constituencies, and essentially, if you know, a good feel, you know. I found it very curious, because what does that even mean? What does that even mean? You are the opposition.
Yes.
And there was an election and you lost. This is first past the post. You lost. The government is the government. And I'm not saying at all that the Prime Minister should not extend certain courtesies to the opposition leader. But it's certainly improper for you to come to the floor of the House of Representatives and, as he, I think, correctly interpreted it, threatened him.
Yeah.
It struck me as very odd posturing. He's not co-Prime Minister. He is not a co-government. He's not deputy prime minister. He's a leader of the opposition. It means the majority of the voters, yes, you got 400,000 of them, but the majority of them who turned out, they voted against you.
Yeah.
Not for you to manage the affairs of the country. And it has to be said. And I keep saying it, and I keep saying it over and over and over and over until they take me off of this microphone. We have become obsessed with this concept of government by committee. I don't know where it come from, but it needs to be stamped out. There's one government at a time.
Yeah.
Because when things go wrong, it's not no committee people look to hold responsible. And I guarantee you, if this doesn't go right, nobody's going to say, oh, the opposition also sat on the committee.
Yes.
They're going to say Andrew, Theoval, Darrell.
Them feel.
That's it. That's my
All right, 12 minutes going up to 8 o'clock on the line. Anthony, good evening.
No, the line is bad, Anthony. Now hear you clearly.
No, we can't. Hold on.
630-937-124, 618-6730. Go again.
Am I better now?
Yes.
All right. So, Ricardo, I'm happy that you brought that up because I saw it today, and I was taken aback too. You understand what I'm saying? And I remember vividly when Mr. Golden was Prime Minister, the PNP uses the same method as if they were.
You mean Mr. Bruce Golding?
Yes, when Mr. Bruce Golding was Prime Minister.
Yes.
The PNP used that method to the point where somebody made a comment about even when they were in opposition, they were leading. And I'm happy that this present Prime Minister is recognizing these stuff and is really not allowing it to happen. I mean, the people of Jamaica choose who they want to govern, and those persons supposed to govern. So I'm agreeing with you, Ricardo, 100% on that one. Cliff, one other thing, Cliff. I listened to Miss Calder today on your program. You understand what I'm saying? And you see, I believe in forgiveness and accepting apology in a Cliff. But you see, the problem that I am having with these so-called civil society group, Cliff, is they are not balanced. And the time when their statement came out, the damage that it did at the time, a lot of people, I was in a lot of conversation where people was like convinced that the government thief or misappropriate billions of dollars. You understand what I'm saying? So they Cliff, I don't know if at this point in time I can really accept the apology. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand.
I have a problem right there. So.
And you're one of many.
Finally, yes. Cliff, my final point, Cliff. I am happy with this fund that the government has secured to help with the hurricane relief and to build back, Cliff. But you know what? I have a fear, and a lot of persons has not gone to this route. But Cliff, because of the hurricane, and we're just coming out of the election, we have not heard anything about the negotiation. And Cliff, I want to send a warning to the unions who will be negotiating that, not because the government would have secured these funds to help to build back from what Melissa has done, means that now, we are flush with cash, so persons can come with big claims and whatever and all of those things and expect that, the government is going to have to give them whatever they ask for. Cliff, we must still be prudent in whatever we do, because at the end of the day, Cliff, these monies will have to be paid back, and we need to take that into consideration. So I'm throwing that in out there, Cliff, in the mix, so when we have our discussions, we can always bear that in mind.
Okay, Anthony.
Thank you, Anthony.
Yeah, man.
630-937-124, 618-6730. Malcolm, good evening.
Good evening. Cliff, how are you?
We're good.
And I'm glad I got with you this evening.
Ricardo Brooks.
I had to call because I haven't gotten the chance to talk to you in quite a while. And the thing about it is, I couldn't be more happy this evening than to have a government like Mr. Holness-led government governing Jamaica at this time, because it shows you the irresponsible nature of Mark Golding in terms of the comment he made. And we are not even referring to the comment about how many people voted for him. Because I never see where the loser ever get to govern in anything. So put that aside. But if you have a house and your house is damaged and you cannot live in that house, and the bank decide based on your credit history to lend you some money to put that roof because they know you're good to pay, and they give you the money and somebody come to you and say, oh, you're going to put yourself in debt to put back the roof over your head. Therefore, you should hold your hat out and go to the street corner and beg money to put back your roof. You're not who is going to be benevolent enough to give you anything. And it might take you 30 years to get enough money to put back your roof. What do you do in the 30 years? While if you put back the roof on your building, for example, the people with the thing in Montego Bay who are paying the workers, if they get their operations up now and put the people back to work, they can make enough profit to pay back a loan that they would probably secure from the government also, or the bank, for example. So that is the idea I would expect from somebody like Mark Golding. He knows better than what he's saying, but a political point, he's willing to destroy Jamaica, just like Buju Banton, if you understand my point. Go around and tell lies and mislead the people who are of a lesser understanding, the lower information people. And that is the danger of having politicians like Mark Golding sitting at the table with you. Because just as you have a caller would say, if you shake the hand of certain people, you got to check how many fingers are left after the handshake.
I hear you, sir.
Thank you for the call.
All right?
Yeah.
Good. You know, that call this morning from Jeanette Calder, it's been a long time since I've had so many responses to a call on YouTube, on my personal phone, you guys in the newsroom. I didn't know that thing had cut so deep. Yeah? I thought it had blown over, it was ventilated, but apparently a lot of people are of the view that it really did serious political damage, and it was strategically done to damage the government politically.
And you have to remember that what was happening at the time. It was just coming off the heels of the Integrity Commission brouhaha regarding the filings of the Prime Minister. So there was a narrative that was running, and it was at the peak of the weaponization of that content. So it did add, and I think unfortunate reporting also contributed to it, because if I recall correctly, it was a front page story
in the Gleaner.
Yes, and so it did damage. And if you recall, and I don't know if you were paying attention to social media as much as I was at that time, all the bloggers, the government thief $1 trillion. The government thief $1 trillion. They're gone.
And they quoted that report in the Gleaner.
And they quoted the report in the Gleaner and quoted a reputable organization to say,
such as
JAMP said so.
Yeah.
So yes, it did do damage, and a lot of the laborites were bitter. And to this day,
still are.
It's, as I'm about to say, I listened to Jeanette on the program. You can't tell some laborites that it was not a deliberate and malicious act intended in the run-up to an election to help it to defeat the government.
Yeah. All right, that's where we're going to leave it for this evening. We want to say thanks to our callers, our producer, Dana Davey, thank you so much. And, of course, our technical operator, Damien Cunningham, our videographer Jamal Tucker, members of the news and production team. Thank you all so much. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Ricardo Brooks.
Reminding you, take care of your loved one and look out for your neighbor. Good night.
St. Anne and Trelawney Nationwide 90 FM is heading your way this Friday. On December 5 from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., we continue our Rebuilding Jamaica Post-Melissa Relief OB series with a dual broadcast live from Brownstown High School, St. Anne, and Litchfield Playfield, Trelawney. 2 parishes, 1 mission, helping our people get back on their feet. Come out and connect with our hosts, share your stories, and let Jamaica know how your community is rebuilding after Hurricane Melissa. We'll be distributing care packages, and our partners will be offering free health checks, prescription support, and water tank sign-ups. Nationwide 90 FM, rebuilding Jamaica, one community at a time. This outreach is made possible by the National Health Fund, the Office of the Prime Minister, Petrojam, Airports Authority, LMH Publishing, Campari Group, Ministry of Health and Wellness, the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, the Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica, Phoenix Vision Center, Kuna Caribbean